welcome to day number 3 of PMPL South Asia 2023. My name is Shadow and alongside me is going to be none other than Blotter. Blotter, how are you doing, man?
All doing good, all doing well. Looking forward to the 3-day affair now that we're going to be part of course, because that means the first 2 days are done. All the 20 teams are now introduced to each other, and now the actual battle begins. Because now and moving on forth, every single match is going to be like your last match, and you have to try and prove and get as many points as you possibly can. Because again, we talk about that overall ranking later on, and again, it'll be clearly showcased where 4MV is and how much of a leap in the points they've accumulated for themselves.
Well, they already are having a good amount of lead in terms of the points, and yes, they were the consistent one on day number 1 and day number 2. In fact, in top 5, I think every single team has got a chicken dinner for themselves except for Stalwart Esports. Stalwart Esports had a very consistent run on day number 2, all the 4 games which they played. Even the last game of day number 1 also was in their favor of Stalwart Esports. So I'm hoping that Stalwart Esports will get a chicken dinner for themselves today.
Most certainly looking forward to it because of the way that they've been slowly but steadily trying to climb up the pace. It is definitely looking in their favor, but at the same point in time, from the Mongolian region, there are other teams as well who've given a really, they've shaken up the lobby, so to say, and that's what's making it very tricky for names like Stalwart to be able to, pick up the pace and be on the top of the leaderboard. IHC, Seal Esports, there are so many others that we can name, players that we can name who are kind of lacking in terms of what we've seen from them earlier. But right now, let's move ahead and have a look at those standings that we were just talking about, Shadow.
Well, before that, let's have a look at the schedule. Yes, day number 1 and day number 2 of week 1 is already over, and now we are into day number 3 after a break of 1 day and play. But what they will get at the end is the prize money, and the prize pool is going to be 80,000 US dollars, Blotter.
Absolutely. Along with that, we can clearly see right below that underneath is going to be the MVP walking away with $1,000 in the bank. And that's going to be only one single player who's going to be able to get all that lump sum money in hand. And of course, for that, you have to be consistent. You have to be the best. And we've seen a couple of players who have actually stood up to the occasion and are doing so really well. And I won't name names because today is a brand new day. But moving ahead away from that towards the point that Shadow was making, again, weekly bonus points that we are, of course, looking forward to into the Vikendi map, and that will be only top 12 teams. So the top 12 teams at the end of day number 4, or rather day number 5, my apologies, after match 5 on the leaderboard are the ones who will participate in that bonus map. And of course, you walk away with points in that bonus map that helps you in the finals as well, in the finale basically as well. But yeah, moving away from that to the basic point structure that we are going to be looking at every single game. First, chicken dinner, you walk away with, of course, 10 points. Moving on down from there is going to be 6 points, 5 points, 4 points, and so on and so forth. But the biggest difference over here that we can clearly see is if you're in between 9th through the 16th, you walk away with no point whatsoever. Even 7th and 8th for that matter, right? I mean, you've got 16 teams that are playing in the battleground, and you've only got over than 5. If you got positions above than 5, then you're looking like a decent placement point. Otherwise, it's absolutely nothing. All of that boils down to the elimination point that you walk away with, and that is what will give you the big difference and the leap and bounce that we want to be able to see from these teams today.
Well, certainly the biggest change this season is going to be the point structure, and the way few of these teams have adapted their game style according to the new point structure, focusing on the elimination points, especially the players of 4MV, even the players of Leo Esports having a consistent run on day number 1 and day number 2. Day 1, yes, definitely NB Esports, they were leading in terms of the elimination points, but day 2, they were completely missing out. So we are hoping, at least I'm hoping, that those teams who are lacking behind on day number 1 and day number 2, day 3 is going to be their day.
Most certainly. Keep our fingers crossed for that for today. But again, with that, today is going to be a change in terms of the way the maps are going to be played out as well. We'll talk more about that when the schedule is upon us. But right now, we've got the overall ranking. The storyboard clearly implying the fact that 4 Medical Vibes, they've created a massive lead for themselves. If my math is correct, I think that's 18 points. And 18 points is a big leap that they've got. Again, now this is something that can very well walk away from them in this brand new day on day number 3 right here. But we are going to find that out soon enough, because again, if you talk about the consistency and the statistics that we've seen in the 2 days that we've been a part of PMPL SA Spring, it has been absolutely brutal from 4MV especially.
certainly for MV, they are dominating the way they have started the day from the very first day. From the very first game itself, their domination is continuing. But at the later stages, on day number 2, not the later stages, it's just day number 2 it was, we saw SKYLIGHTZ Gaming also doing a very good comeback. Even the players of A+B+C Esports also having a very good run for themselves. Abrupt Slayers, few of these names are there who started doing a comeback from the day 2.
Most certainly, and along with that, let's move on ahead and talk about the head-to-head teams that we've got today, and those are the ones who specifically stood out on day number 2, right here, where we saw SKYLIGHTZ Gaming as well as Venom DE walk away with, I believe, roughly about 45 to 49 points in one particular day itself. A big leap that they were able to accumulate for themselves, and in doing so, again, they're very close to each other, but is that the start that they were waiting for? And now today is the domination that they're probably going to be showcasing to us? Well, we'll find out. But this is the most important one, where SKYLIGHTZ Gaming, again, they were on top of that mountain for the longest time. Of course, we saw them brutally, of course, assault so many individual players because they had so much of information, and reliable information resulted in them getting a lot of elimination points. But again, that is something that can very well be drawn out towards their opponents as well.
Particularly from the side of SKYLIGHTZ Gaming, it was No Fear that impressed me the most by his gameplay, the way he was providing the backline support to his teammates so that they can rush over to the enemy and win that particular fight. So No Fear definitely was capitalizing on the information, at the same time providing the backline support that was required for the players of SKYLIGHTZ Gaming. So I hope SKYLIGHTZ Gaming do the same on day number 3 also, because day 1 they were not able to perform at all.
They were not able to do anything whatsoever at all, and that is not something that we want to be able to see. But all in all fairness, the best part over here is they're not the only ones secluded. There were so many teams who were part of that day 1 not looking good for them. And we always, all the conversations that we've had till now, till the match 10 has been played, it's all been about, yes, all right, early jitters, or maybe they're trying to understand the lobby. But today, all of that is chucked out of the corner, right? Today is going to be the most important day, where it all boils down to, all right, you've got the 2 days, you've understood what your opponents are doing, but now today is the most important, where you decide for yourself if you are who you think you are, and you think that you are going to be part of the finale as well as the bonus maps. And that is something that, well, by the end of today, we are going to find out.
Certainly, now every team is having a read on to each other, but I want to talk about one more team that was not able to perform up to our expectations, but we'll come to that later. Let's have a look at the small promo video.
I want to get my hands on that. I really do look forward to, the Blitz tank right there. It was looking epic. The Joker costume, again, there were so many individual things, right? Everybody loves to have those bling things on. And if you're able to do that in game, nothing better and nothing can beat you, I believe, as well.
Well, I think I also need to get my hands on these skins, because it's been a long time since I have been flexing my M416 Glacier skin, because now everyone is having that Glacier. Everyone is having. Yep. So I need to get these skins in my hand. But talking about the schedule of today, we are starting things on a very aggressive map that is going to be Sanhok, then Erangel, then again Erangel, then again Miramar and Miramar. That means it's a day of double Erangel and double Miramar.
Absolutely, and that of course means that we are in for a good Friday today, because that basically means we start off on Sanhok. It is a small 4x4 tile map, which automatically implies that we are most certainly going to be looking forward to an aggressive streak being showcased from these teams. Amongst all of them, of course, we also do know that Group E will not be participating, so that means DRS Gaming, Intention X Esports, Abrupt Slayers, as well as SITM will not be a part of this game number 1. But moving away from there, we definitely look forward to DRS and all the others. But never mind all that, now is the time, Shadow, where we bring in the age-old question, the teams to predict. Let's make our 0 into a 1 or a 2 today.
I hope I am able to convert it into a 1, but since it's Sanhok, okay, it's not so easy. Okay, I want to go with SKYLIGHTZ Gaming. I want them to get a chicken dinner for themselves.
That most certainly is a very strategic pick coming in from you. But at the same point, I'm going to move on away from that into the map itself. And of course, we'll see the flight path. But as we talk about the flight path, I'm going to let the producer know that my pick is going to be, as far as the prediction is concerned, Venom DE. I really do want to be able to see them continue with the same pace that they showcased on day number 2. At the same front, of course, Shadow has picked SKYLIGHTZ Gaming, but of course, viewers, keep in mind that this is all speculative. In the end, you also can let us know in the chat that what teams are you supporting and rooting for? What do you think is going to be the final result by the end of the day? Which team you think in the overall ranking will be the one leading the charge? Or do you even believe that 4MV is going to drop down from that first position again? I mean, 18-point leap, that's not an easy target to achieve, right, Shadow?
Well, certainly it's not easy, but day number 3, in the very first game, they are facing a drop location clash in Pangnan, and I want to see if the other team is there, but it looks like a fight is already happening between Leo Esports and the players of TRZ, where the players of Leo Esports are falling down, crumbling down. That means too many early casualties and fights are happening, and looks like the trades are coming back and forth as TRZ Mama is also down on his knees, and Mad Cat is the only one, and Smoky Whitey, he's very low in HP, but look at the weapon that he's having in his hands. It's DBS, very deadly weapon in close range.
Absolutely. I mean, we've seen the perfect dominating factor that is DBS, but it seems this time around the DBS is not going to be able to do anything in front of the AKM. But moving on away from that, TRZ Mad Cat, he stood up true and tall right here against the players of Leo Esports. Even though it seemed for a minute there that TRZ might just be losing off the starting match itself, there came in, of course, Mad Cat and delivered a massive punch and blow and liquidized his opponent as he did right there with Liquid as well. And just like that, Leo Esports get eliminated, get dominated. And again, if we go back to Shadow, if we go back to day 1 itself, what we saw from the side of Leo Esports, it was looking like this is a team that's going to be dominating in week 1. But then slowly and steadily, as the teams got comfortable in the lobby, the entire storyline kind of has flipped on itself, especially for Leo Esports, I'd say.
Well, certainly facing an early elimination at the very first game of day number 3 is something they didn't anticipate at all. But TRZ, the way this team has picked themselves up, 1v4 coming from the side of Mad Cat, that was very impressive. Yes, definitely his teammates helped him out, but we are seeing another drop location clash that is happening in Paradise Resort between the players of I8 and NB Esports. Well, the I8 I know and I saw. This is not the I8 I'm seeing right now in this season, because that I8 was always dominating the lobby, always getting double-digit finish points, but right now that I8 is completely missing. But 4MV versus the players of Raw officials, and looks like Raw are getting hunkered down and trades are coming back and forth.
Absolutely, as we've got 4MVs, of course, Refuse moving on with that DBS in his hand. It seems like 4MV are in a domination streak, and just like that, they're going to be able to eliminate Raw officials, sadly, with 0 eliminations. And interestingly enough, even though it seemed like an equal amount of trade was taking place between the two teams as they got against each other, eventually it was 4MV who were able to eliminate and obliterate their opponent at the same point of time, did not lose out on a single player.
Well, certainly they didn't lose any player. That is kind of synergy and communication we want to see between the players. But somewhere else also a fight might erupt, and Seal better be careful, because the players of Venom DE are in the close proximity, and looks like Rob team has an idea where exactly the players are. And with that QBZ, he finds a perfect knock onto Relay over there, but can he find the confirmation? That's the main thing. But at the same time, he also needs to realize that he's all by himself. The numbers are definitely not in the favor of Seal, but Aero is having his own troubles as he's picking up the players of Stalwart Esports, and Action is surviving by 10 HP right now.
See, in all of this, one thing that I noticed is Seal Esports, they're playing a very varied game, right? I mean, they're all one action Rambo all by themselves, and that is something that just does not make sense. I mean, Seal Esports, they're supposed to be playing together as a unit, as a team, and they're all taking their own individual fights, and that is something that's not going to run on for long. So this is looking very difficult for Seal Esports. I mean, to start the day off as well, they've showcased real discipline in terms of how aggressive they want to be. But taking on fights with two individual teams is definitely going to be showcasing a bit of, in fact, make it three individual teams because now they've got their crosses against NB Esports as well. And what a perfect nade that was! Fingers crossed because this might be the opening. And again, another nade coming in from Becca right there from Seal Esports as he gets another one down. And DBS along with his teammate Rogue with the UMP in his hand are going to be pushing on ahead. And there's only one boy that's going to be going down, and that's going to be right here behind the rock. And it seems like Rogue goes down along with his teammate. DBS does not favor them. It is absolutely brutal. Fist boy has just made his way through in a 1v2 situation. Make that 1v3 because again, in the end, it was Seal Esports' final player. Not entirely sure what he thought. Did he have an invisible cloak walking straight into where the gunfire took place and trying to revive his teammates or whatever the case was? Yeah, that was just a lack of discipline being showcased from Seal Esports once again in the fight, and that cannot carry on forth, especially on day number 3.
Day number 3 is a day of clutches blotted. I have to say this. First, it was Mad Cat that did a 1v4, and now it's a Fist Boy getting all the 3 finish points for himself. So definitely, it's a day of clutches. Teams are looking more confident in terms of the fights that they are picking. Yes, Steel Esports, they were picking fights on the multiple fronts. Like you pointed out, 3 teams at the same time. That is never going to go in your favor. And that is why we are seeing the early elimination of all the 4 players of Steel Esports. Yes, the synergy was also lacking between the players, but I ate well. They are still having the complete control of Paradise Resort, and thankfully NB Esports have moved away, so that means they can have the entire control and can find residency for a short while in Paradise.
And they're looking absolutely fine. Again, on the other side of the map altogether, we've got TRZ in another fight taken against the players of High Voltage. Jiggle goes down. Perfect utilization of course, over there, where in turn TRZ, with the perfect momentum that they've already accumulated and showcased to us, now seem to be wanting to deliver the same fate to the face of the players of High Voltage. As of now, Assassin is cooking that nade to perfection. He does throw it in the general direction and is going to be able to get a little bit more damage on his opponent's steel shot right there. But not for long, because again, High Voltage's teammates, well, Jiggle has already been lost to the cause. So High Voltage is probably should probably decide to either fall back, but that also is not going to be an easy way because it's an open area right there. But what a perfect sigh of relief right there for High Voltage, because DE from out of nowhere help out and take down the players of TRZ one by one, which in turn has created an opening that High Voltage could very well capitalize upon.
Well, DE are taking down the players of High Voltage as well, because now High Voltage are surviving as a 3-man army, and looks like Deadeye's guys are doing damage on both fronts. TRZ and High Voltage, they both need to be careful of Deadeye's and need to move into the cover as soon as possible, especially the players of High Voltage. But right now, Malik, this could have been a nearly perfect grenade, but he's going to miss out on that projectile. This time, second time, going with the Molotov. Can he take down another player of TRZ? And looks like he is not going to do so, but he needs to change his position, relocate himself, because we have Deadeye's also in the close proximity. But Prabeen from the backlines is going to retaliate and take down one player from the side of Deadeye's as well.
Indeed he will. With that, it is seeming like High Voltage could be the one that could utilize this third-party situation in their favor. As of now, they haven't gotten a single defeat point yet. But we can clearly see True Love Sir right behind that tree is pretty much dusted. He's got nowhere to go. Of course, his teammates are already falling back. Praveen has all the angles against him. And it seems like Deadeye's Slayer Sir is going to be pushing on ahead to try and, in fact, take out that flank angle that Praveen had created. And what a perfect nade this could very well be. Nade or smoke or whatever it be. This is where, again, Praveen could very well be falling back, and that is exactly what he does, because DE have realized that they need to push in, because there is no way they're going to be able to take this fight for themselves if they do not do so. And what a perfect utilization this has been from Slayer Sir right here, because that nade parade that he created right there, well, it was a single nade, but it helped push back High Voltage's Praveen, and now he's going to, of course, lose his life as well in this game. It's all thanks to the way DE approached this fight, but TRZ, just a 2-man army, are going to be trying their level best in a small little room, trying to create the DBS angles, and this is all it took for Slayer Sir to slay down his opponents. TRZ get eliminated right here in the first 5 to 8 minutes of the game starting itself. I don't even believe it's been 8 minutes, but we're already looking at so many teams already going down, 4 of them in total, and so much of destruction and mayhem between these teams in the lobby.
Well, certainly, four teams have already bited the dust. They have already been eliminated from the lobby, and this is not something we anticipated at all on day number 3. I expected teams to be a bit more cautious, but we were asking where are the players of Deadeye guys on day number 1 and day number 2. But the way this time Deadeye guys did a third party on to the players of High Voltage and TRZ. TRZ, they were having a fantastic run, fantastic start to the game, but all that went into the vein because Deadeye, they eliminated them. Even the players of High Voltage suffered heavy casualty as they lost two of their own. And on the other side, if we look at the map, the entire cluster of the teams is towards the eastern side. So if Deadeye's guys are able to find a good spot for themselves in this particular circle, I think even in the later stages of the game, they are still going to be in a very good spot.
Absolutely. For now, as the game continues on, Deadeyes leading the charge in terms of the elimination round, which is of course 5 for themselves. IHC on the other side of the map towards Paradise that we saw I8 at have caught up against I8 and are now trying to slowly but surely bring down the players, as we saw IHC's Alex had gotten a shot. But we'll come back to that fight. As for now, on our screens is going to be Venom DE, a team that I predicted and hoped and anticipated to walk away with the chicken dinner this time around. We'll see if they will be allowed with that opportunity or not. But there we are, back with the screen of Alex from IHC Esports, who just a minute ago, as we saw in the kill feed, was able to bring down Sky from I8. And the best part for I8 was the fact that they were in the compound. So now this clearly showcases the over-aggressive application of I8's procedure of playing the game, basically, right? And that is something that at times works for them, at times does not. So today might be their day, because it's looking like really good positioning from their side as they're on top of the mountain. But never mind that fight, as we move on ahead against the players of NB Esports as they take down the players of T2K. From far away, it is going to be Stalwart closing the mark as NB Esports. They showcased a little bit of resiliation today on day number 3, but sadly, it's nothing like what they showcased on day number 1, and they get eliminated right here on the 12th spot.
No Fear has been spotted down by Krita of Denim VE, and Krita has gave away his position as well, giving time for the player No Fear to move into the safety. But on the other side, Krita need to be a bit careful because SKYLIGHTZ is surrounding all the players of Denim VE from all 4 directions, and the grenades that are coming in the direction of Krita especially has taken a hefty damage, but not enough to take him down. AJ, being that little venomous snake, is giving a lot of trouble to the players of DE right now.
Absolutely, SKYLIGHTZ Gaming. I mean, they are looking like they are here to create a story. They want to repeat and be even better than what they were on day number 2. And for now, it is going to be Venom DE that they've got in their mark and clutches, or rather trying to, because the nade parade that they're trying to bring in is bringing in a little bit of damage. But of course, Venom DE is going to try and shift around, get themselves recuperated, and refigure out all the angles they want to be trying to cover. As we do see Mafia Ninja and AJ sticking together from the side of SKYLIGHTZ Gaming. Now I wonder where that third player is. We can see the 2 dots right next to the players of Venom DE. Where's the third dot at? The one in yellow, because right now SKYLIGHTZ Gaming have 3 players alive, and with that it seems like SKYLIGHTZ Gaming Mafia Ninja was trying to get a little bit more information in his McLaren, but that was not going to be allowed because Venom's really pushed on ahead and was able to spray him back down, but not for long, because third party affairs is what we do know is going to take place in this map. And that's what now, between this fight, all this commotion that they're creating could very well be drawn, because SKYLIGHTZ Gaming AJ, what a perfect utility that he's throwing, can very well be the demise of Venom DE right here, because 2 of the players, Domi along with his teammates, have already gone down. It's all down to, of course, Relay and Farhad. And Relay and Farhad are, at least for now, going to be able to push back the aggressive force that SG came in from.
Well, they're hoping to do so, because now they are down to 2, as you mentioned, and Farad has been spotted on my AJ. The perfect jiggle peek that came from the side of AJ brought the demise of Farad also, and now, well, they are down to just 1 man, and not for very long, as No Fear gets a confirmation onto Domi as well. And Relay is so far away from the players of SKYLIGHTZ Gaming. He better hide out in that compound, because SKYLIGHTZ Gaming, well, all the players are hunting for him. A very aggressive start from the side of SKYLIGHTZ Gaming this time. On the other side also, I saw the players of Stalwart Esports in the map also having a very good spot. They're not committing to the city of bootcamp, to the entire compounds of bootcamp, but they are keeping themselves in the outskirts. So that means when the Circle will throw a curveball. That means Stalwart Esports still they are going to have a very decent position. Even they were picking fight with the players of 4MB, but looks like now they have backed away from that fight.
Absolutely, because DE's True Love Sir just spotted them making a rotation away from the players of 4MV, and that in turn has resulted in Stalwart losing out IC for now. They've already gotten only 2 players left in the lobby. IC is the final player. If they can try and revive him, it seems like that's not going to be possible, and they are definitely going to be 2-man army. That's going to be Tops in action. The Tops in action are going to have to face the commotion from the teams that are surrounding them. From one side we saw 4MV, from the other side it was of course Maptex up on north as well, and what a perfect spray coming in from Doc right there, as he's going to be easily able to eliminate along with his teammate Refuse, the player of Stalwart Esports. As Stalwart get sprayed upon, we're left with 10 teams, 27 players in total, and the zone keeps on shrinking and constricting, and that in turn is pushing these teams now out in the open.
Well, it was a very fast Sanhok. It's only the fourth circle and we have only 10 teams and 27 players remaining, and AJ has been picked up by Viper of Team I8. Let's see if we can find the confirmation also, because knocks are not going to give you anything. It's the elimination points that you have to focus on, because the change in point structure that we have right now. On the other side, we have the players of 4MV. Their run has been very consistent this time. Also, they have managed to keep all the 4 players alive in the lobby without losing any player. They have 6 eliminations already. But right now, Maptex Esports are also in the close proximity, and looks like KC has made some noise, giving away his position. At the same time, Baron has been picked off by the players of 4MV. The trades are coming back and forth from both sides.
Absolutely, 4MV in a little bit of a tricky situation, because the strategy that they had has already been taken away from the players of Deadeyes, and Deadeyes find themselves in the camp, whereas for 4MV they're out in the open and therefore getting slayed. For now, they are still a 3-man army strong, though they are surrounded, though. That is the biggest trouble for the players of 4MV, and they are at the edge. Maptex is slowly but surely closing in right behind them. Right behind the positioning of Maptex, there are other 2 teams as well slowly closing into the edge of the zone. So Maptex are going to have to be very careful of not only what's in front of them, but also what's going to be coming in from the rear, from the flank angles. But as we talk about this, Bad Intentions find an exit from this lobby. 9 teams with 23 players still remaining, and there is still an inclination of DE getting the game, but it can go very well south as well, because this is only stage 5, and now, all right, stage 4 is what I was gonna say, but stage 5, that means there's been a shift, and the shift of the zone seems like it is going to be helping out the players in positioning of Deadeyes guys for now.
Well, certainly. Talking about 4MV, they are a few meters away from the circle. They have to transition themselves inside the circle. But in doing so, they have to make sure to find a good spot as well, because so many teams are already having good hard cover for themselves, especially the players of Deadeye guys, like you mentioned, or T2K also having the entire control of that compound on the periphery of the circle. It's mostly the southern side that I'm worried about, from where the players of Maptex Esports are also going to make that rotation. Mafia Ninja still in the blue, maybe going for the heal battle, or maybe fighting with the blue. I think it seems like he's fighting with the blue. Let's see if he can win so. But right now, 4MV takes down Valley of Maptex Esports, but in retaliation fire, Refuse also gets taken down.
Well, Maptex and 4MV, it was a clash that was bound to take place, because they were just destined to go against each other the way they were moving in towards the edge of the zone, from the edge of the zone towards the center of the zone, for the comfort as well of the compound, which in turn of course led in the numbers advantage going in favor of Maptex. Also the positioning of Maptex, which of course is where we now do see Maptex Esports slowly pushing on ahead, but not for long it seems like, because Baron's HPH goes down to a sliver of HP. His teammate Kesse already goes down, along with that Leo already lost to the cause. Maptex, it seems like they are also at the end of this game for them. There is no way Kesse can be brought on away from that death edge that he's sitting on. And as we talk about that, Deadeyes guys with the perfect control in the center of the zone are looking dominating in this game, as they push slowly but surely towards the chicken dinner. Because if we look towards the right, where we do have the remaining teams status clearly telling us D with all 4 players standing, and with our screens, T2K Rig with the DVS in his hand, 1v1 situation, and it seems, well, my apologies, there was a 2v1 situation, and it seems that it is going to be T2K standing up for just a few more minutes as well. It is just a 2-man army, T2K, Jane and Reg, but we've seen the kind of devilish play that they can be a part of. But with the momentum and the positioning of DE, it is very, very difficult for T2K to do much.
This is a Deadeye's game to lose. This is definitely Deadeye's games to lose. They have the numbers advantage, all the 4 players alive. They have a good compound to their name also, and the way they are keeping check on all multiple angles, grabbing as much information about the opponent teams and the players. Deadeyes are looking super strong, but on the other side, High Voltage Assassin was looking for a confirmation point onto Maptex Esports last player, but looks like it was the play zone that is going to be the demise of Maptex. And with that, we are left with only 5 teams and 11 players remaining, with IHC having a little bit of the height advantage, higher ground to themselves, but not the numbers that are required to win this kind of a fight. On the other side, T2K needs to be a bit careful, as Shifu sir with that M416 is already looking towards him, but it is IHC that is going to bring down Jane.
Well, Scarlet Gaming's Mafia, the one final player, Mafia Ninja, who is standing, is also going to be bringing in a third party from the rack angles. But in all of that, what took place on our screens, IHC tried to obliterate the players of T2K, but that in turn was stolen away rather, from the players of Deadeye's guys. But whatever you say, in the end, it is Deadeye's guys' game to lose, as you said, Shadow, because the positioning is absolutely pristine. IHC, they're trying to slowly crush in, but it is not going to be an easy task. They do have a vehicle in their hands, but getting that close is all they're going to get. But right now, it's all boiling down to how True Love Sir controls this angle along with his teammate. And of course, from the backlines, there's high voltage they need to be careful of as well. If the communication is not right here between Deadeye's guys, then it is going to be a bit of a brutality being thrown against them from IHC and high voltage.
Well, certainly. Deadeye guys, they have to make sure that IHC doesn't inch closer to them. Otherwise, the barrage of grenades that are coming in could be the reason of demise of the multiple flaws of Deadeye's guys. Shifu sir is definitely having an off angle, and the way he's trying to lob that grenade, if he lobs it to the perfection, IHC will suffer heavy casualty in the situation. But Mafia Ninja has managed to keep himself alive, and LX goes down through the hands of Shifu sir, and Shifu sir instantly gets a confirmation also, and a true grenade also comes through the hands of True Love sir, and IHC has been eliminated. Now we are left with only 3 teams, 7 players remaining, and Assassin with that Molotov is looking for a knock onto OnTop sir, but OnTop sir right at the nick of time jumps out of the building, manages to keep himself alive for a little bit longer, but still he's in a 1v2 situation.
That was so close. High Voltage Assassin, what a perfect read that was. Had he been just a second early in that burst, in that spray, he could have very well caught on to just a sliver of pixel on top sir, and that could have been his demise. But right now it is, like you perfectly mentioned, a 2v1 between this fight, as we do have it. Malik and Assassin slowly closing in from one angle itself. They've got the cover of the smoke, and now they're going to split, which in turn of course implies that they are going to try and go at it together as one, but also they need to be careful of all the other players, and that is exactly what Malik is going to be taking care of as well. And in doing so, it is going to be on top sir realizing that this is the DBS moment to shine, and he pushes on all by his lonesome through the smoke and gets down one of the players. But Malik with the UMP, he's going down, his health is going down almost to his liver, his bullets have already gone down. There is no way he's going to be able to get that revival, and that is going to be the end of it, because High Voltage, with just a 2-man squad right there in the end against a 4-man army of DE, are going to walk away with a beautiful chicken dinner in the hand. An incredible feat that we were talking about, that High Voltage definitely do deserve, and this time around it seems like they are the ones who are going to get it, Shadow.
Well, certainly it is Deadeye guys. We were asking on day number 1 and day number 2 when Deadeye's guys will start performing, and looks like day number 3 is the day of Deadeye's guys from the very first game, with the dominant performance, point perfect rotations, and good synergy coming from all the 4 players. With 10 elimination points, they get a winner chicken dinner for themselves.
Thank you. Thank you.
Guys getting a beautiful winner chicken dinner for themselves. The MVP itself is from the side of Deadeyes. Guys, this time plotter. We just look like we just started the day. And it was so fast that Sanhok ended. And Deadeyes guys already getting a chicken dinner for themselves. What do you have to say?
Well, again, you know, when it comes down to the way that this game was played out, it was definitely looking really phenomenal. From the starting till the end, we had so much of aggression being showcased from the entirety of the lobby altogether. And that is something that we wanted to be a part of as well, right? Because we know that Sanhok is an aggressive map. Along with that, right now, let's move ahead and also talk about the top players from this game. And we know who's going to be on top right there. It is going to be Slayer, so right there from DE. And from that, we move on ahead to the second, third, and fourth top players, where we do have four Miracle Vibes, Doc coming in with 5 eliminations, moving ahead, and that too 5 eliminations in 17.5 minutes, compared to, of course, Maptex's Baron, who survived for 18 and 48 seconds for 4 eliminations. So the damage that 4 Miracle Vibes bring in every single time is clearly being showcased right there from one of their teammates, Doc.
Well, certainly. Then we have Venom DE really also with 2 elimination, but a very high damage number, 715. Then we have Fist Boy coming with a 1v3, 3 eliminations to his name, 575 damage. But unfortunately, the team couldn't survive for a very long time. Survival time is just going to be 10 minutes and 12 seconds. Overall, a very fast and aggressive Sanhok that we witnessed on the very first game. I didn't anticipate this at all. I expected the teams to be a bit more conscious in terms of the rotations, but looking at the match ranking, Deadeyes are standing on the top with 20 points to their name. SKYLIGHTZ Gaming also had a very good run in this one. It was only Mafia Ninja that survived all by himself, because of which they couldn't grab too many placement points, but 10 points, a very good run for the players of SKYLIGHTZ also.
Definitely a really good spot coming in for SKYLIGHTZ Gaming as well, right there, as you perfectly mentioned. A+C Esports were able to walk away with 4 eliminations of themselves. On the other front, for 4MV, it was a hard luck situation, as DE had already moved into the bootcamp. But moving away from that towards the second page of the leaderboard, we do have Raw officials who were the first ones to get eliminated once again. Stalwart Esports this time around not able to make a mark with only 1 elimination, sitting on the 14th. With that, we have Seal Esports on the 13th with 2 eliminations. So a tough luck situation for a few of these teams who've been really doing fabulously well in the past 2 days, in day 1 and day 2, but today seem to be having a rough start to the entirety of it. But again, that was Sanhok. Sanhok is known to have third-party situations all the way through. But from this moment on, now we are going to be looking at, I think, not necessarily a slow-paced day, Shadow, but definitely a very half-paced day from these teams, because we're looking at 2 Erangels, 2 back-to-back Miramars, which would imply that teams are now going to try and synergize themselves a little bit more, because they are not going to be shifting from one map to the other. It's Erangel, Miramar. So they have that sort of a boost available, that sort of an opportunity available for them, that if that one strat on this Erangel did not work, or if they noticed your strat has been applied by another team, like this time around on Sanhok, I noticed that DEA had already pushed ahead and applied the strat that 4MV were thinking of as they tried to make that rotation. So definitely looking forward to quite a lot of chaos. I'm loving it. I'm loving day number 3. But with that, of course, let's push ahead and have a look at the highlights from this game.
Well, certainly the day started with too many third parties. We witnessed the fight happening between the players of NB Esports and Seal Esports. Well, Seal, they were picking fights at multiple fronts, which resulted in their demise very early. Then we saw the players of TRZ also having a very good run, at least a very good start for themselves. Maptex also going up against the players of 4MV, where 4MV came on the top. But this fight was very crucial, where the players of High Voltage went against the players of Deadeye guys, especially on top side. It was a 1v2 situation, but the DBS meta that has been coming in, even in the final circles, the players are using DBS, and because of this DBS, so many players are struggling because. We saw AKM winning over DBS, but if you land the perfect shot with DBS, now there is no other weapon that can stand against it.
Most certainly, I mean, when it comes down to the way DBS itself as a gun, the way it works, right? It's got shrapnels going ahead, so it makes a lot of much bigger of an impact on its target. But with that, let's have a look at the overall, the storyboard as I like to call it, and let's find out how close has any other team gotten to 4 Miracle Wives. Well, never mind how close anybody else has gotten, because 4 Miracle Wives are 2 points away from a 3-digit marker being created right there in the total tally.
Well, certainly, but on the other side, Abrupt Slayers, despite getting 2 chicken dinners, they have 62 points. That means they had too many bad games also, but the way they are showcasing a comeback, I think they are still looking very strong. But on the bottom, Seal Esports, Raw Officials, Bad Intention, Elementrix Esports. This is a very surprising thing, seeing Elementrix Esports at the bottom 4. I didn't anticipate this at all from a team like Elementrix. Deadeyes guys also not having the perfect time, but the way they are starting on day number 3, I think by the end of the day, if they carry forward the same momentum, we can see Deadeyes on the post page.
That is something that, of course, we can anticipate because of the way that they played this Sanhok game. But that same momentum and energy needs to continue on throughout the entirety of the day, because that is the only way we can anticipate them moving away from the position that they're at. Because it's a hard climb from that second page that they're at, that to the 14th position, if I'm not wrong. It's a very hard climb because every other team is trying to give in their level best as well. But right now, as you move away from the map of Sanhok, it is time to jump into Erangel. And like we were talking about it, back-to-back Erangels. And of course, now is a change. Now is a time for change, because we do know that Group E is going to be introduced. So that means, of course, DRS Gaming, Elementrix, Abrupt Slayers, and SITM are going to be playing. And for me, I believe this game of Erangel should go towards SITM Esports, or is it going to be the Real Soldiers? All right, we'll go with the Real Soldiers, DRS.
Okay, if you're going with DRS, I wanted to pick DRS, but I think Stalwart Esports, because Stalwart Esports, they are right now in top 5, and they have not gotten a chicken dinner for themselves. In the Sanhok also, they had a very good positioning. Yes, the outcome was not what they anticipated or we anticipated from the position inside the circle, but still, Stalwart Esports, but the consistency they were bringing in day number 1 and day number 2, they ought to get this one.
Well, again, let's just keep our fingers crossed for that, because no matter which way it goes, Shadow, either your way or mine, in the end, we want to have at least one prediction confirmed for the English test right here, because that is what we need to get on those zeros that we have going on for ourselves. But again, away from all of that, that's all just speculative thing that goes on. There is nothing to do with the way it is going to go down in the game itself, because the game is going to be forced on how the gods of PUBG are going to decide where the zone is going to be, where the flight path is going to be. And right now, we know that gods of PUBG are going to be taking us to the map of Erangel back-to-back.
Well, certainly this time, the group that is sitting out, like you mentioned, is going to be Group D. And in Group D, we have IHC Esports, Maptex Esports, Leo Esports. The last game was definitely not in their favor. Then Seal Esports, their misery is still continuing on day number 3 as well. So this group is sitting out. They have time to re-strategize, rethink what went wrong in the very first game, and they can come very strong in game number 3.
Well, again, for Leo Esports, one thing that I can say is that they were caught off guard. It was the first initial fight that we saw from the side of that team that they were part of, which of course did not go in their favor. On the other front, it was TRZ that capitalized on it. Mad Cat particularly was the only man who was genuinely mad in that compound, who did not want to have Leo walk away with anything. But on the other front, again, you talk about Seal Esports. One thing that I noticed for Seal Esports was not necessarily the lack of communication. Maybe that's how they're wanting to play, but I'm not able to understand why are they trying to play like that. They were taking on the fight from that mountain, and they had 3, I mean, on the map of Sanhok, we've spoken about the Shadow time and time again. So many casters have that map of Sanhok is going to be, of course, the one where you are going to be thrown into third-party situations. But it was almost like Stalwart Esports invited these third parties towards themselves, taking on individual fights. That is something that completely goes away from the class 101 that we do when it comes down to PUBG Mobile. But never mind, fingers crossed. Hopefully, as the day continues on, we see a different side of Stalwart, because the progressive force that they had, the rotations that they were making, it was all looking really good.
Well, totally agree to it. The position of Stalwart Esports in, I think, Phase 4 circle was also very good. It looked like this could be the game of Stalwart Esports, but nonetheless, it's time for Erangel, and maybe they're also looking to change things. But talking about the flight path, this time we are heading from the side of Stalwart towards military base. So, towards the western side, teams have to glide a bit longer, and I don't see any major change that is coming in terms of the drop locations. SATM heading towards the side of Yasnaya, T2K as usual heading towards the side of Siverny, but they need to be a bit cautious because DE Venom, but looks like DE Venom, they will head over to North Georgopol, so there is nothing to worry about. But I like the circle. This time we are having a northeastern circle.
This is a good one. This is definitely a good one. Especially if the circle takes itself towards the water body above Yasnaya, Poliana. I mean, that is one place that in the past year and a half, PUBG gods have changed the way the zone shifts around. And that is when the first time that zone was introduced, long back, and absolutely in love of that fjord that's right above Yasnaya. But never mind, we'll come back to that in the later stages of the game, because right now there's quite a lot of teams who've actually gone down towards the military base. As we were mentioning, there does not seem to be a much change, because Stalwart loves to go towards Novorupnoi. 4MV are also dropping down towards the same area, but right off the bat, it seems like we're gonna have a little bit of a kerfuffle between the players of Elementrix. Frag going up against Steel Shot right there, where TRZ's Shield Shot has been caught with just a 9p1, and that in turn is what this fight and game has in store for us. It is, of course, going to be a 2v1 situation against Elementrix. Fragboy, there's no way that he's going to be able to capitalize on this fight, but he should have, at least if nothing else, taken down that man right there. Steel Shot, he was brought down, but the point was not taken away. But there we have it, of course, as teammate comes in, Mad Cat along with the backing, covered already. This is the fight that TRZ had prepared for in the previous game as well. Just the early aggressive force as soon as they jump down from the parachutes, and that is where Mad Cat is going to be leading the charge once again in the backlines from the side of Elementrix. Is going to be Juicy Orange with, of course, the PP Bison. Along with him is going to be his teammate, but that's not going to be enough, because it seems like Mad Cat from the back angle, what a perfect cover entry this was, because Mad Cat's teammate took away all of the target that, of course, Elementrix were trying to do. He was the scapegoat from the side of TRZ. And then Mad Cat from the backlines just pushed on, sprayed on through, and completely annihilated the team right there. But, of course, that means that there is still one player looming about from the side of... well, never mind, because right now, what is done is done. For TRZ, this is a good start. They've got all 4 players still surviving and standing tall as they walk away from this.
But TRZ last time also, they had a very good start where Mad Cat got all the 3 or 4 finishes for himself. But this time TRZ needs to be a bit cautious, because last time their victory didn't last for very long. But talking about Stalwart Esports, the team that had a very good rotation in the previous one, but were not able to deliver the performance. This time they are towards the side of Novorupnoi. Definitely in terms of the loot, they are going to be armed to the teeth. Their bags are going to be full. They are going to have the perfect resources. So Stalwart Esports, this time they ought to have a good rotation and a good game in their favor. But on the other side, if we talk about other team that has not been able to perform up until now, is definitely blotter going to be T2K. But this circle is in their favor. They'd like to drop in towards the side of Siverny. The circle is in their favor, so T2K should also start to do a comeback on day number 3.
They definitely should, because the circle was towards the north, towards Yasnaya being in the center. T2K jumped up northern above Yasnaya itself. So yeah, definitely there could be an option for T2K to be able to, get decent amount of points from this game. But we'll have to come back to that point, because right now we've got ASL, Abrupt Slayers, on our screens. And as you were mentioning earlier as well, Abrupt Slayers were not part of the first game, but they recently have found their marking in the lobby, basically, because day 1 was not looking good. Day 2 onwards, they picked up the pace and now find themselves in the first page of the leaderboard. So ASL are looking pretty good for considering how day 1 went for them. Venom DE though, day 2, I mean, they're basically going through ups and downs. Day 1, they were nowhere pretty much. Day 2, they rose to the occasion like there was no tomorrow. And now we are at tomorrow, day after, basically. And it's going back to what day 1 philosophy was from the side of Venom DE, as we saw from the previous game as well. The fight that they were up against, the positioning that they were in, all of that can be questioned. But again, what's gone in the past is done. Right now, what they can, of course, have in their minds is to have a really good Erangel, because every player in the lobby, of course, is a die-hard fan of Erangel, and they know every nook and corner. But in all of that, Bad Intentions is one team that seems to be shying away from everything, and once they do come in the limelight, well, they're not able to sustain it for long, and that is something that's not going too well for Bad Intentions XCF MF right now. For now, again, hope from their side would be to try and survive for as long as possible, perhaps stay away from fights for the initial moments of the game, of course. Because at times we've seen Shadow for the side of Bad Intentions, they're able to make the rotation, they get into the zone, but then when it comes to the fight, they kind of just they're not able to stand tall and face their opponent, because they're just bamboozled from so many different directions. Could be one of the reasons. But again, fingers crossed, it's only day number 3. We're going to see what exactly is going to go down right here. Mondo getting himself prepped with some energy.
Well, certainly, NB Esports right in front of our screens right now, even they had a very good run on day number 1 in terms of the elimination points, but placement points they were not able to grab. Day number 2 was definitely not in their favor. Day number 3, NB Esports are looking for a good start, but like you were mentioning about Bad Intention, I think they are not able to adapt to the recent point structure, because every single time they are able to be in a good spot. Like the second game of day number 1, they were able to get in top 2, they were placed at second
Right.
position with only 2 elimination points. Then back to
Exactly.
back they had 2 good games also where they placed on the 4th position. But they need to realize it's not the placement points that are going to help them in this case. They have to focus on the elimination points, because elimination points is something they are lacking behind. So I hope Bad Intention do find their aggressive side also as soon as possible, because the week 1 is already 50% over.
Indeed, that is so true. This is today literally is the intermission day basically for week 1, right? Because it's a 5-day week that we're looking at. And then in that, you have to be able to outperform what you did on day 1 and day 2, because day 3 is the day where you've learned from whatever you could. You've understood what the other teams were doing, and now it's for you to implement those changes. And then, of course, carry forth that same momentum on day 4 and 5. But that, for so many particular teams, is not looking like an easy target. Again, for NB Esports, for one example, right? I mean, NB Esports, they were looking sensational the way they played on day 1. But come day 2 and 3, well, day 3 is still continuing. Of course, it's only been one game, so it wouldn't be fair to draw them in there. But day 2, of course, can be drawn in for NB Esports, which was, again, a drastic change and drop from the play that they had showcased on day 1.
Well, certainly, but looking at the circle, I'm just loving the circle. I love what the terrain of Stalwart offers. Players struggle a lot. Everyone wants to be the king of the hill. Everyone wants to grab that big mountain to their name. But the way rotations are coming in from the southern side, from the side of Yasna, it's going to be so chaotic. It's going to be full of bloodbath. So it's not going to be so easy to survive as a whole team with all the 4 players alive till the later stages of the game, or till the final circle in this kind of a circle. Definitely not easy to play around with.
Absolutely. For now, though, we can see a lot of these teams have started making the rotation. From the south, we can see so many teams who are down towards the military base. I mean, Stalwart being the last one of them is going to be moving in from Novo to get in right behind, from Mansion region, right behind DRS and the likes as well. Quite a lot of dots, colorful dots right there towards the southeastern side of the zone. None towards the northern side, though. I mean, T2K were there. They seem to have pushed down towards the center. And I believe only a few moments later, we are going to be moving into towards another stage as well. Yes, 1 minute and 30 seconds. But never mind that, because right now it seems like Raw has gone against the players of Skylight Gaming. And Skylight Gaming themselves were very well ready and prepared, but not with the numbers advantage that Raw brought in. With a 2v1 situation, it seems like this is where Nima will go down. And Skylight's Gaming compound has been stolen away from them. Raw, this is the aggressiveness that we needed from you. The players, you need to make it right. But every single time you need to make it right. This time around, it has worked out flawlessly with that Jory. Nade coming in and no fear. Brought down to his knees, and AJ on the background just running away. There's absolutely no way he's going to be able to play this round, the team of Raw, because he realizes the numbers are not in his favor whatsoever at all. And just like that, SG has been brought down to just one person for now.
Well, certainly, SKYLIGHTZ Gaming, not a start they were hoping for themselves. They have been brought down to only one man on the other side of the map. We have 4MV also going up against the players of Abrupt Slayers, where the players of Abrupt Slayers looks like they are falling down. So many fights are happening, but Raw officials, a good start, but they were not prepared for I8, as from the height advantage, Sky comes and takes down Zodi from the side of Raw. Now this revival is not going to be so easy, because look at the position where Zodi is. He's out there in the open, but Claw with that vehicle is already going for the rescue mission. Brave moves coming from the side of great synergy coming from Raw. But Sky, now he needs to be cautious because he's all by himself. But looks like they are already looking for an aggressive push onto the players of Raw officials right there. But from the backlines, Reaper is shooting in the direction of Wolves, and the vehicle has taken a lot of damage, and so is Wolves.
Well, now we need to move in with a bit more of a strategic play right here, because I8 Viper is not going to be able to, of course, get a revival, but never mind that, because Sky has other intentions in mind, and then those intentions are to just completely obliterate his opponents, and that's exactly what he ends up doing, providing his teammates a little bit more of an easy play to take down the compound, take down the warehouse, where, of course, we've still got two more players remaining from the side of Raw. We've got Yetauta as well as Reaper, but they are now falling back seemingly. Slowly and surely, Yetauta is already from the outside, it seems like, against the warehouse on the other front for I8. Illuminate 8. They need the team synergy right here. They need to get the 4 players in this fight, and this is where, again, the moment for Raw is Yetauta was already, like I was saying, outside the warehouse. He's already gotten into the vehicle. I think he's going to be moving away and getting a little bit more of a attention of the players of Illuminate 8, and as they do so, Reaper realizes this is his moment to try and get as many nades as he possibly can, if at all Illuminate 8 try and push in ahead, but that they do not do. So all in all, what we've learned from this is Yetauta has run away from the fight. Reaper is all left by his old lonesome, and what he can do is perhaps try and run away or just take on head-on Illuminate 8.
Well, certainly the numbers are in the favor of I8. On the other side, so many fights are also happening between the players of Stalwart Esports, DEADEYES, and Bad Intention also. But this grenade could have been deadly, but a retaliation grenade comes from the side of Raw, and Sky has been brought down to 60 HP along with his teammate, and Wolfies comes out in the open, instantly gets taken down by Reaper. And with the hip fire coming from the side of Reaper, takes down the second one also, but he also gets traded down. Now Nova is all by himself, as Viper has been found by the players of Raw, and instant confirmations also coming in. That means both the teams are left stranded with only one player each.
Indeed, and this is not good. But again, I mean, for Yetauta, this is his moment where he could have, given a little bit more of a cover, given a little bit more of an aggressive force. But as he tried to deliver that, DRS I saw in the kill feed were also trying to obliterate the players of Illuminate 8. Now, right now, for this moment, Illuminate 8 still do have 2 players standing here, and are, of course, as we can see, trying to get that 3rd player revived as well. Sky is already up and about, roaming about, trying to get the cover, but Yetauta, I mean, he does not have a lot of options right here. He knows that there is a team up top on the mountain. That's going to be, of course, the real soldiers, as I mentioned. Delta must have heard all the commotion that was taking place as they made that rotation from the edge of the zone. And because they're at the edge of the zone, this is a good decision from the side of DRS to try and hold back and see whoever is there to get some last hits, if at all they can. But again, the Blues has caught up to Delta as well, so he's going to try and get himself as prepared as he can be. But it seems like Illuminate 8 are going to be able to walk away from this fight, run away from this fight, and they are, of course, going to be able to get into the zone. But for how long, though, is what the question is going to be, because Illuminate 8 are going to be sprayed on upon, and what a perfect spray coming in as well, because it was SITM on the other side of that warehouse, where one of the players from Illuminate 8 has been dropped dead. This is going to be, of course, 2-man, that's why Novax and Sky 25.
Well, 2 points and 2 casualties coming from the side of I8. This is not looking good at all in terms of the placement in the overall leaderboard also. But look at Rolls. He's throwing with a player of SITM. Desert. Okay, he's gonna shoot now. No.
Ruth, give us the dessert we need in this conversation, mate. We don't want no chicken dinner right now. Dessert is better than chicken dinner right now. He's being so really resilient. He does not want to give away his information, and he knows for a fact that SITM preyed upon the running members of course. Well, never mind that. It seems like finally he's decided to get his Mini 14 in action, but sadly, though, Desert is not what he's going to be able to get right before the chicken dinner, because Desert, what a cheeky move right there. He was able to just jump around, sprint across, and easily dodge the bullets. Sadly, rules. That is not going to be what you expected right there. And with that, DRS are now going to move in ahead as well to try and get into the zone. 16 teams still surviving. 46 players in total as we look at the third airdrop being dropped on.
Well, certainly, but DRS, they are still resilient on picking up this fight with the plus of SITM, and looks like one player has been brought down to the knees. This is the moment when DRS wants to close in the distance, and they're certainly doing so. They have the height advantage as well onto the plus of SITM, and can they win this fight? They ought to win this one, and Delta takes down Dobu also, so that means SITM right now, 2 players are bleeding, and there is no chance of a revival coming in any minute. Because of the position, the two players are so close to the players of DRS, and out there in the open, Jiro is still hiding in that little shack area. If he is able to bring the surprise factor, maybe he can take down one player from the side of DRS.
Well, he might be able to get a knock, but definitely no way he's getting an elimination point. Well, never mind the knock as well. Says no, DRS as the real soldiers are in the house. And in doing so, they're going to be obliterating SITM on the other front of the bank. Oh, my apologies, on the other side of the map altogether. We do have ASL going down on the 15th position. So now that we are slowly looking at teams dropping down and dead, we're 40 seconds away from stage 4 ending. And this could be the entry that DRS were waiting for. But notice towards the top right-hand side, the mini-map is clearly showcasing that DRS, the one in cyan color, are surrounded by at least 2 to 3 teams. One in dark green, one above them in gray, and then, of course, in towards the center of the zone is the one in pink. So quite a lot of commotion that DRS is going to have to go through.
Well, certainly, the majority of the teams are on the periphery of the circle, and it's not so easy to be right in the center. Right now, the players of DE Venom are going up against the players of Stalwart Esports, and it is Tops who is reigning supreme. Has he managed to take down not just 2 players from the side of DE Venom, and minded the entire team of DE Venom has been eliminated at 12th spot with 0 elimination. That means 0 points to the name. But now Stalwart Esports have to be very careful because they have got the attention of DRS. The smokes are being globed to deny vision to the plus of DRS, and Stalwart Esports, well, they need to transition themselves inside the circle as well, as they are close to 160 meters away, and all they have is 25 seconds on the clock.
The biggest trouble brewing for both these teams right now, like you perfectly mentioned, right? The 20 seconds that's waiting and looming on top of their head before stage 5 comes to an end. And that implies that the blue zone is going to be giving away so much of damage. And that is something that DRS also realizes, also factoring in the fact that DRS is on a better position compared to Stalwart for now, because they're up above Stalwart's position. So they're holding out in the blues for as long as they possibly can. But in the center, oh well, not in the center, but towards the other side of the zone, towards northwestern side, we've got DEADEYES getting caught out, as it is going to be 4 medical vibes east, dropping him down. It seems like DE are divided right now. 2 players have already moved in closer towards the zone, but True Love, sir, he's so far away. Out in the open, there's absolutely no way he's going to be able to run. Refuse as well as East are waiting to bring them down, but 4 medical vibes have trouble of their own, as one of their players, Epix 922, has already taken shots from the other side, and that's the team in blue, and that's going to be high voltage as well.
Whoa, it's not going to be so easy for the players of DEADEYES guys to transition themselves inside the circle, especially considering the position of 4MB. And Slayer Sir has been brought down to 10 HP. A perfect grenade comes from the side of Refuse, instantly brings down Slayer Sir, leaving True Love all by himself. And how much can he do in this situation, as Apex with that UP45 gets a confirmation onto one of the player DE, and Slayer Sir also bids bye-bye. Now DEADEYES, the last player, also eliminated by the players of 4MV. Now we are left with only 10 teams and 27 players remaining. 4MV are looking superb in this situation, but they have to be very careful, as they have Stalwart Esports right in front of them making their rotations, and they have the players of high voltage as well in the backlines.
Indeed, and DRS is going to be right behind Stalwart as well. So quite a lot of teams that are going to be moving in right now that these teams are going to have to be careful of. And with that, as Team DRS try to make a movement, it is going to be Illuminate who's going to be bringing in a perfect nade to bring down the numbers of DRS. But right now, it's going to be 4 medical wipes. Doc, previous game's MVP, roaming about in his buggy, trying to get as much information as he possibly can. Also trying to get as much cover as he possibly can because, of course, his team is brutally getting murdered out there as there is absolutely no cover. It is an all-out open battleground right here. And it all boils down to how good is your aim, how good are you able to point out where the opponents are at, and again, the numbers advantage. Now, this is where, of course, NB, you can see Mondo is slowly but surely creeping in with his vehicle. It seems like this is going to be a troublesome fight for MV to be able to capitalize upon because high voltage from one side, NB on the other, they are getting sandwiched brutally.
Well, certainly an I8 has been eliminated at 10th point with only 4 eliminations. High voltage, they are slowly crawling their way inside the circle. They have to pick fight with a player of 4. MB, the last man standing, fighting valiantly, lobs a grenade towards the side of Malik, takes him down. Praveen also goes down, but 4 MB couldn't stand very long for this in this situation, and they have been eliminated with good elimination points in their name. For high voltage, well, they have to go for the rescue mission onto the fallen players as soon as possible because they have another team right in front of them, and NV Esports is also waiting for them inside the circle to welcome them. So it's not going to be so easy. Yes, definitely high voltage are looking very good in terms of the confidence they are having, the momentum they are having, but in the water we have 2 players. That is going to be last player from the side of Raw and 1 player from side of TRZ, but Delta was found in the open and Sandesh instantly shuts him down.
Absolutely. T2K till now T2K has been so very quiet. While that fight was going on, I just realized that, hold on, when it comes to the numbers advantage, we've got high voltage, we've got NB, but then where's T2K? They were nowhere in the action. They only had 1 elimination point till the time they just took out DRZ's player. So now they jump into the action. Now with the numbers advantage, they could very well dominate this game. 7 teams remaining. Stalwart get eliminated with 4 eliminations of their own. High voltage is still part of this fight. High voltage has been moving ahead with a really good momentum, as well as, of course, the sprays and the communication that we're looking from their side has resulted in them sitting with 6 defeat points till now. 16 players in total. Like you perfectly mentioned, Shadow, a couple of them are out in the water as well. So this is going to be a very good final zone circle because there is still an opportunity for so many of these single player teams to just completely bring in a third party fight and stop a dominating team in their tracks.
Even the position of NB Esports is also very good in this particular circle. They have the majority of the real estate control. Right now they have been able to brought down Jiggle from the side of high voltage, but getting a confirmation is not going to be so easy in this particular one. So let's find out if they can get a confirmation and bring down the numbers of high voltage, because high voltage, well, they are running high on the horses right now. The smokes have been deployed to deny vision to the players of NB Esports, but NB Esports also need to be a bit cautious from the players of T2K, at the same time DRS as well.
Absolutely, with DRS's final player still looming about. Same is the case for Raw, TRZ as well as SKYLIGHTZ. These single player teams are the ones I'm rooting for, so to say, to just completely try and third party these 3 teams with 4 members surviving. We've got NB Esports, we've got High Voltage, we've got, of course, none other than T2K as well, and Sandesh, he's going to be out in the open, he's going to be caught out back. And therefore, he is going to be dropped down, as well as Malik is not going to be moving, or rather, he's not going to be allowing any way that Sandesh couldn't walk away, but it seems like Malik himself gave away his position, and that in turn resulted in him getting a nade. So T2K still are very much looking forward to this fight. Again, high voltage, they've given away the information. All it boils down to now is who's going to be pushing ahead to try and get a single knock, a single trade, and it was, of course, T2K, but T2K have already fallen back. So the initiation that we thought that this could have been as they took down Malik is not the case.
Well, certainly that was a wise decision that came from the side of T2K, not to overcommit into the fight, not to come out in the open. But now we are left with only 6 teams and 15 players. High voltage, yes, all the 4 players are alive. On the low ground, they have NBES to deal with. In front of them, they have the players of T2K as well. So they are kind of stuck in the situation. They have to pick up the fight and isolate the fight as well. On the other side, we have the last man from the side of DRS also, Gante, who has managed to keep himself away from all that commotion that is happening in this particular one. In this game, well, they had good amount of elimination points as well. 8 elimination from the side of DRS. All they need is the placement points right now.
Well, for now, all he wants to do is survive, I'm sure. Same is the case for SKYLIGHTZ AJ, as well as, of course, Yet Outer from Raw, as these are the players, the single team players right now. And these are the three. Amongst them, there is no fight that can be drawn. But the other three players, or rather the other three teams, they've got all 4 players still surviving, and they're playing the long game. I mean, I'm not sure what the long game implies right here, because it's already stage 7. How long are you going to wait before the Blues actually pushes on you? And that is exactly what High Voltage realized. And they tried to push ahead, but sadly, NB Esports' Mondo was absolutely prepared and ready. And just like that, he's been able to spray down Assassin. And now, of course, he's going to be bringing and mowing down Malik as well. A perfect controlled opportunity right here being showcased from the side of NB Esports that they did not want to let go. And just like that, as High Voltage tried to push through and move ahead, they've been drop dead.
Well, look at SKYLIGHTZ Gaming AJ. He has been spotted down, and the way grenades are coming in his direction, it's not so easy for him to survive in this situation, as 3 players from the side of NBES, and this is something I kind of anticipated. And with that, SKYLIGHTZ Gaming has been eliminated. Now we are left with only 4 teams and 10 players remaining. NBE looking very confident, and Sek finds a perfect knock onto Sandesh of T2K out there in the open, and he's looking for a second knock as well onto T2K. But at the same time, NB Esports, they need to realize not to overcommit, not to come out in the open, not to leave behind their covers. That is how they are going to get a chicken dinner. Again, Sanhok has been taken down. So T2K, definitely they are suffering, they are struggling in this situation right now.
Oh, they're struggling so bad. I mean, they've given away their information. They're jumping out of the smokes, giving away more information. Of course, NB Esports knows exactly where individual players of T2K are at. And of course, along with that, look at that. Fistboy has already created a perfect flank angle from the side of NB Esports. And that in doing so has resulted in, of course, a perfect opportunity that NB Esports has capitalized upon. I've said a lot of courses in this perfect sentence right now, but that is exactly what is taking place. NB Esports, there is no denying it. They are in control of this fight. No matter how hard anybody tries against them, they've got the numbers advantage. They've got the information against every individual player that is around them. And DRS Gyante, he was quiet for a long time. That was all that was going to be allowed. DRS get eliminated on the 4th one. Raw Yet Out was going to be in the waters, and the one player that was left is already gone.
Well, certainly NB Esports, 10 defeat points already in their favor. Perfect synergy and coordination coming from all these players. Now we are left with only 2 teams, 5 players remaining, 1 player right inside the water. So we can already say it's going to be a chicken dinner for the players of NB Esports. We were asking, where is NB Esports on day number 2? They were completely missing out, but looks like day number 3, they are also creating a comeback story for themselves. And well, Yeta Uta from the side of Raw decides to dive by play zone instead of giving away his 1 elimination point to the opponent team. Every single point matters a lot, and with that, the play zone takes last player from the side of Raw, and NB Esports get a winner chicken dinner for themselves in the second match of day number 3 with high number of elimination points. So this was something we didn't anticipate in the initial start of the game, but later stages when the final circle came in, and the way NB Esports had the majority of the real estate control under them, it was bound to happen. And the aggressive stance that was coming in, 10 eliminations and 1835 damage that they were dishing out, and now they have been brought to top 4 in the overall rank also.
contenders here.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Well, hello and welcome everyone to PMPL SA 2023, and my name is Shadow. Alongside me is Blotter, and Blotter, in the previous game NB Esports got a fantastic chicken dinner for themselves, 11 elimination. We were asking, where is NB Esports, where is the consistency?
Yes.
And here is the consistency that is being showcased on day number 3.
See, what I'm actually noticing, Shadow, compared to day 1 and day 2 combined together against day 3, is that on day 1, teams were very, very brutal and they wanted blood on the battleground, but then they moved on to day 2. They kind of reserved their energy a little bit. But now on day 3, the teams have realized that which are the teams who are going to be pushing on ahead and playing the aggressively. And then there are teams like NB Esports, High Voltage, Mavitex has already been doing it since day 1, who we see just go around the entire kerfuffle that takes place, right? And that in turn helps them go closer and closer towards the final moments of the game. And well, that is really good. That is really fabulous. That has been able to work out. But will it continue to do so again and again? That is something that I really want to see, because we've seen this kind of performance from NB Esports. I'm not denying that. I'm not pushing them down. All I'm saying is that that consistent play that needs to be there, it's gone up and down compared to day 1, day 2, and now day 3 up again. So definitely kudos to them. Let's move ahead and talk about the MVP now and find out, is it going to be from NB Esports? No, it is Draw Efficients. Wow.
Well, the guy survived for a very long time, 27 minutes. He was right there in the water all by himself, grabbing the placement points, 4 eliminations coming right just from this single individual. The damage that also he was dishing out is not so bad, not so shabby. 693 damage. In fact, it was a very good performance that was coming from the side of Raw officials.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that, because of the way that they started off, and then we were always questioning as to Raw, where is the aggressiveness at, where is the communication and the team building that is required in that battleground, in that fight, was kind of missing from them. But now they are definitely showcasing their wings slowly and steadily, and that worked out beautifully right there for Yeraura, of course, walking away with the MVP. But now there needs to be that consistent play from that team as well. With that, let's also talk about the top players from this game. We know that up on top is, of course, going to be Yerauta from Raw Officials, but then following him up and close is going to be NB Esports' Akaze with 3 eliminations. And of course, survival time of 27 minutes and 21 seconds, just a little far apart, of course, because this is the team that got the chicken dinner.
Well, certainly. Then we have Jiggle from the side of High Voltage with 3 eliminations. DRS Gaming, LX also good performance coming. I'm sorry, it is Delta with 5 eliminations, and 4 MV Doc 922 with 4 eliminations. So these are the top players from this particular game, and in fact these are the teams also that are performing really good in terms of overall standings. NB Esports is also having a good decent run. DRS also not too shabby as compared to day number 1. They are slowly picking themselves up and showcasing a beautiful performance.
Absolutely, but again, where we move in to talk about the consistency, well, let's talk about that from the highest elimination down to the highest healing done. Of course, Delta is going to be leading the charge, but then following him up and close is going to be Yerauta with 4 eliminations of his own. But moving on from that, assists is also something that is very important, and for that, we saw Mondo stand up quite beautifully for his team where it was required the most. And in fact, I mean, the previous time that he was on the previous game that he was on the cam, he was just, boosting up, he was just getting ready. And he did that literally in real life. And that's what happened in his character in game. And he just boosted up and got up, took on the lead, and of course the dominating force from his team. So definitely a kudos play from Mondo as well. But let's see if all of this that we're looking at, the stats that are being showcased on this Erangel, can continue on the same in the second Erangel that is going to be played for the day. Of course, it's going to be match number 3 for the day altogether. But right now, let's talk about the match ranking. NB Esports, I mean, the teams that are walking away with the chicken dinner are being very, thorough about odd and even. They're being very even in terms of their play. Pretty much majority of them have walked away with even number of course, elimination, and thus, of course, same is the case for NB Sports as well. 20 points in total is what they've got. So a decent outing for them. They're going to be boosting up their position in the overall ranking for sure. Sadly, the teams on the second page, though, from SKYLIGHTZ Gaming, DEADEYES Guys, Elementrix, SITM, Venom DE, Bad Intentions, Abrupt Slayers. Yeah, this has been a tough battleground on Erangel for them.
Well, talking about the not so consistent gameplay, SKYLIGHTZ Gaming, Deadeye Guys, Elementrix, even Abrupt Slayers, the inconsistencies that are coming from these particular teams is something I don't expect from such a line of such veteran players who are known in the region from a very long time. We expect a consistent gameplay from their side. Definitely, if you can't get the winner chicken dinner, no one is asking to get a winner chicken dinner in every single game or be on the second spot. But consistency is something that is required in the league plays if you want to win top 12 and if you want to play the bonus match, because after today 50% of the games of week 1 are going to be over.
Absolutely, and only tomorrow will be the one that will decide. Well, not only tomorrow, actually, tomorrow and day after. They still have an opportunity. They still have quite a big lump sum left to be able to play the games and then just completely change the storyline that they've created till now and jump into, of course, like you perfectly mentioned, the top 12 at the end of day number 5's match 5. So that we can jump into match number 6. That will be played, of course, on Weekendy. That will be a bonus map, and the biggest factor of that is the top 12 teams that will participate, and the number of points that they get in that automatically is going to help them in the finals. And for that, every team is, I'm sure, rooting for it. But 20 teams, and only 12 are going to qualify. So it is going to be tough. It is going to be very, very tough, like you said.
Well, certainly it's going to be tough, but the chance of playing bonus match is going to be given to you in second week also. So if you are able to play bonus match on every single week, every single time, definitely you will get some extra bonus points that is going to help you in the overall ranking. So I think by being consistent, be consistent by being in top 12, play the bonus matches, grab as many points as much possible so that in the final few days, at the 11th hour, you don't have to struggle for those 1 or 2 points to qualify for the finals.
True, that is so very true, of course. But once again, it is time. We're going to jump into the map of Erangel this time once again as well. It is going to be back-to-back Erangel because that is the schedule for the day. So talking about the schedule, of course, it is going to be Erangel, but along with that, it is also time to talk about, well, the predictions. Shadow, what do you believe this time? What team do you believe in that will get the chicken dinner? Second time on Erangel, of course. Group A, B, D and E are going to be playing. So Group C is going to be staring out.
Well, certainly, Stalwart Esports, SKYLIGHTZ Gaming, IH Crew, and NB Esports, they are sitting out in this particular one. So, since it's Erangel, T2K should get a chicken dinner for themselves because the way they are playing today, their gameplay is very impressive as compared to day number 1.
Alright, from your side it's going to be T2K. From my side it is going to be 4 Magical Vibes, 4MV. That is the team that I'm going to be picking to get a perfect chicken dinner for themselves. It is going to be a tough and close one. Definitely not an easy one, that's for sure. But that is the exciting part of it because this is the second Erangel that will be played. So let's of course move on ahead with the schedule itself and talk about what map it is, which we have been, because it is going to be Erangel. And this time Group C is not playing as we mentioned earlier. So no Stalwart, no SKYLIGHTZ Gaming, no Illuminate Crew, no NB Esports as well. That actually does provide an opportunity in terms of the drop locations itself, because when Stalwart is not playing, you know Nova's going to be open. Nova down south at the military base is going to be absolutely open for anybody to be able to jump into, and that is an opportunity that we'll have to see who's going to be able to capitalize upon.
And certainly who is able to capitalize on the opportunity, because this is last Erangel of the day. Then we are having 2 Miramars coming up, and we know the terrain of Miramar is not so easy to play. You are going to struggle. You have to make sure all the 4 players are alive. This is the OG map. This is the bread and butter map of every PUBG player. So definitely you ought to perform really good in this particular one. And from your blotter side, your prediction is going to be 4MV, and from my side is going to be T2K.
Absolutely, that is what we've got in stone as far as our predictions is concerned. But again, it should not matter to you guys sitting back at home, because you can give in your predictions of your own in chat and let us know what teams are you rooting for, what teams are you supporting, and what team do you think is going to be sitting up on top by the end of the day in the overall ranking. Right now, let's jump right into the game. Let's find out where exactly is this fight path taking us.
Yes, because the flight path and the very first circle decides the fate of so many teams, at least in terms of the rotations that might be coming in, or in terms of the drop clash, because we have been seeing so many drop clash these days in Sanhok, also in the last Erangel also. So let's hope and see this time. I'm always up for drop clashes, but this time I'm hoping that there is no drop clash and teams are able to perform their natural gameplay by getting all the resources, all the weaponry and the armor required to have a close 4v4 fight with any of the team. But T2K again this time going for the Siverny drop location, DE Venom heading towards the side of North Georgiapol, Bad Intention this time are heading towards the side of Stalwart. In Yasnia we have the players of SATM, and the split that is coming from the side of Bad Intention. I am rather concerned for one single individual that is colliding alongside the players of SATM.
Yes, that is true. Now again, the name does imply they've got some bad intentions. They've not really been able to showcase them thus far that properly for themselves. But hey, what do you know? This time it seems like SATM are going to be sticking mostly around Yasnaya, and that bad intentions player is going to be able to walk away, or rather fly away, rather this time around, glide away from the pertinent danger that he was kind of in. But nevertheless, away from that, we've got the zone on our screens. It is looking like a Ruins Gatka zone, but of course, we do anticipate shifts coming in from the zone as well. And quite a lot of these teams, of course, are towards the eastern side of the map. So early rotations are probably going to be expected. In fact, not only that, rotation can very well be a thing as well. Rotation from the boats, from the waterways could very well be a thing. That could be applied from the side of 4MV, could be applied from Elementrix if they needed it to be. But it is going to be a far-fetched thing for boat rotation to make sense for this one. Nevertheless, it's an option. It definitely is an option for the players. Alongside that, like you perfectly mentioned, an expected shadow. We are not looking at any early presentations thus far. There is no first blood situation. There are no teams that are in the vicinity against each other. Everyone is happy doing their own thing. As for how we like to see battleground. It is going to get really real soon in just a couple of minutes.
Certainly, I'm happy to see that there is time there is no provocation clash that has happened, but a split that is coming from teams. Look at the players of field also. One player is so close proximity to players of high voltage right towards the side of Ross against area. The remaining players are towards the northern island. So this is some unorthodox split that is coming in. Let's find out what's gonna happen. But in Rosa right now, we have the players of DEADEYES. They started the day very no again getting a winner for themselves with 10 elimination points map and the inconsistency that was talking about. Last game they were on the top of the match. And if this is something that I need to go on, especially the experience which these players have, especially she's on top of the other veterans from the particular team. So expect consistency from that side. But yeah, this is the guy that is ready to be the most in the map Sanhok.
Indeed, Wood was the one who was catching out all of the prey that was lying around, and he was the one who was able to spot out so many individuals open as well. So, good game, mostly big showcase from him. He was able to lay down and of course move down his opponents like we saw with a perfect spray. One game is one thing, consistency is another. And that is what, of course, everybody expects from all of these teams and their fan teams as well. But can he do it is the question. I mean, they have done previously. And they definitely have an option to do so today as well. But can they deliver is a big question to answer. For which again, we're going to have to wait for now for MV. As we see them always around the military base. Actually, I mean, if you are able to secure the military base, you end up getting quite a lot of loot. And you'll have the best loot amongst all of your lads, right? All of your mates. So all players are going to be absolutely ready to get into any fight whatsoever. And that is where 4-5 always stands out true.
Empty bags can't stand right very long. That is something the 4 players know very well. That is when they drop towards the side of the base. Grab as many resources as medkits, the grenades, the molotov, the smoke, everything level armor, at least level get themselves. So that really like deliver consistent performance and at least they're lacking the resources they fight. But on the side, this particular team is impressing most the way they are playing in most particular match. They were not able to survive by fighting on TRZ, but the way they initiated fight, I have lots of new insights. Yes, they won that fight. Money coming in the second match of Erangel also they faced in earlier provocation clash. The way they won that fight also definitely this team has more synergy. On their most close fights, so definitely TRZ is also looking very strong in number 3.
They have been consistent, I have to give you that. They have been resilient, I have to give you that. Team fights, yes, they have taken those as well. TRZ is on the rise. Every dot tick mark, every point check, every box unlocked. It is just waiting to rush out to get that contender in the bag. Which again, every team is of course wanting to, but it's not that easy. As we get slowly into the swing of things, another team we have not yet spoken much about. A team we would like to see get unlocked and to them their potential. IHC. Today they've been a bit dormant, at least till now. They've been part of 5 fights, but dormant nonetheless. Let's see in this game. Are they going to be able to make a mark? Can they just tone down that aggressive force just a little bit? Let's find out.
Certainly, this is not their day, but TTK is the one that really having a good run. Dynamo is this time also they managed to grab good elimination point and elimination point from player of Esports. But what has happened to Esports? Because they never won. This team definitely was looking very good in terms of the aggression they were bringing in. Day number 2 was also in their favor. I thought day number 3 is also going to be very consistent for the players for Leo Esports. They had a day off. They had time to think and work on some strategies, out of the box thing. But looks like it's not working for them. Every single time they are caught off guard in the initial stages of the game.
They are, and it's not down to the rotation as well, because they do take on fights, they do trying to avoid fights as well and get into the final zones, but somewhere along the line it is very much possible that the other teams have also realized as to what kind of a play style is Leo trying to achieve on day number one. In these moments it also gets into mind plays and that's right, teams like Erangel player, player has been gone out of the open and sleeping out the lobby. As early in the morning, he's going down A+B+C+D as A+B+C+D open their bank for 50 points, 1 point for them, and now they fall back because we saw ASL had a point of their own. Just one player outside, he's trying to start out, and sadly just at the wrong time was caught out in the open.
Well, certainly bad intention. One player has been knocked down by falling off the vehicle. Thankfully, there is no other team in the close proximity who can give a revival and let the revival is already come in. A+B+C team. And A+B+C team performed really good on the map of Miramar. So thankfully, we have two Miramar students there. A+B+C can look forward to have one game at least. And let's see how we are going to perform in this because the circle way has panned down. And A+B+C being in the cheeky, they do have a position. They have some good players also like Charlie and Sleepy, but Sleepy was dropped down in the very early stage of the game. So they had brought only 3 men. So the numbers are definitely not in favor, but if you bring in rotations, positions inside the circle, you can still win in the game.
Absolutely, and from the eastern side of the zone, we can see two big names, DRS and IHC. Now, if they don't clash on each other, they are in very good position right there. The way they are entering the zone is perfect because there is absolutely no team around them in the vicinity to stop them. They've got a huge area that they can spread around in. But we'll come back to that later.
But the way they were so segregated, this was bound to happen. They lost one player, and now they have the blue to deal with. They have the 4 players of SATM also to deal with.
Indeed, and that is sadly not the kind of start that Bad Intentions wanted while they made the rotation into the game. Of course, along with that, we can see from from the northern side, SITM and Bad Intentions close to each other are going to be jumping in. But where exactly do they find the opening? Because we can see pretty much all the edges of the zone have been covered. The centers are already slowly being grabbed on upon. The rent has been paid. The tenants are in. DE, DRS, Raw, Mabtex. They're all looking comfortable in the center of the zone. But all the other teams, they're still here trying to find a compound, trying to find a safety net, because only 4 players have gone down from 4 individual teams. So there's still a lot that's going to go down. But SITM, they are behind the players of Bad Intentions. And Bad Intentions, things just got a lot more worse because they are down to just a sliver of man. That is the man on our screens right now. Bad Intentions, Sim. A tough luck situation for Bad Intentions. Definitely not looking good this time around. Because on the backlines, we can see ASL's Chari. If he stops right there, he could very well just blow apart Bad Intentions' opportunity to try and survive for as long as they can. We actually did mention this earlier as well when it comes to the point structure. 9th to the 16th position teams that finish on the 9th to the 16th walk away with 0 placement points. And for now, Bad Intentions, they don't even have a single defeat point as well.
Well, certainly 0 defeat points, no placement points, nothing in the hands of Bad Intention, and just one solo man surviving. They were trying to challenge out SITM from the blue, and that is something that didn't work in their favor at all, especially the segregation also that was coming in. On the other side, we have the player of Abruptslers, Shawl, out there in the open, and the shots that were coming in from the side of SI4MCMF. Well, now Shawl is aware of his position, but somewhere else on the map, it is T2K and SITM who are locking horns with each other, and looks like the players of SITM are definitely not winning as trades are coming in from both sides. One player of T2K is also down on the knees, and this is going to be a very interesting fight. But ASL Char, he finds the last man of Bad Intention, and with that Bad Intention, because the first team to be eliminated from the lobby, at the same time SITM has also been eliminated by the players of T2K, and T2K this time they are leading in terms of the elimination points. They have the highest 5 eliminations already, but the blue is the main player in this particular one, as so many teams are struggling in the blue. Abrupt Slayers lost 1 player because of the blue zone. They have to go for the rescue mission, but there is no chance. They're already down to 2 men.
Indeed, a very difficult rotation. Again, I mean, this is something we've spoken about. If you end up doing a late rotation, all the places in the zone are definitely going to be caught on. All the compounds are going to be taken over. And that's exactly what has happened right here. With that, of course, we do see T2K being in the action, being in the limelight, having already dropped down 5 players, 5 defeat points confirmed for their side. And they still are not yet done. But on our screens, we have High Voltage Assassin with the money. And oh, what a perfect control that was from Aero right there. A perfect dot on the head. And just like that, Assassin goes down. Of course, he's just knocked down. His teammates are right around the corner. The distance is a little too big for SKYLIGHTZ to be able to do anything. But the damage has been done. The time has been spent for High Voltage to recuperate. Other teams could very well pounce upon them. But for now, it is going to be IHC Godless pouncing on upon the players of Raw. And again, more aggressive. One up together. And that in turn has resulted in IHC having just 2 players surviving. Demo with only a sliver of HP. Alex on the backgrounds, pushing on, but will this be enough? Because he's all by his lonesome. From the backlines, he's being sprayed. From the front lines, he's trying his level best. And what a perfect sneak up peekaboo. And Mabatex is out of the lobby. This is what IHC Esports is known for. The over-aggressive, zealous force that they push on into every single fight. But this could have gone south. This definitely could have gone south had there been 1 or 2 Molotovs and nades being thrown. But nevertheless, it was in IHC's favor as we push on away from that fight towards another one between Venom DE. As they do have Domi already down on the ground. Revival is going to be utmost important right now.
Well, Definitely the revival is very crucial, but how that revival is going to happen, that's the main thing, because the way grenades are coming from the side of Krita is definitely not helping the case of Domi, but definitely helping him by some time so that he can crawl his way toward his own teammates so that revival can be done. But hi, Domi having that perfect angle check. Domi, because of that grenade, has been brought down to a sliver of HP, but right in the nick of time, Krita is there to help him out. This is the moment when the players of Leo can charge in, but the grenades that are coming in their direction is not giving them enough space to move towards the players of DE Venom. And now the numbers are in the favor of DE Venom. Domi needs to heal himself, patch himself as soon as possible. Elementrix, also being in the close proximity, can do the third party in the situation as they have the numbers as well. But the circle is going to shift in a matter of few seconds. That is when the players of Elementrix are going to decide whether to join this fight or to head over to the next rotation.
Indeed, and that too is not going to be an easy answer for them. They are a three-man army strong team. Same is the case for Venom DE as well. Leo Esports, they're just waiting for the perfect opportunity to either open fire in this fight, because there's no way they can leave this compound with between two teams keeping the crosshairs towards Leo Esports' two-man army. But for now, again, all of them in a little bit of a stalemate, because they know getting out in the open is not going to be easy. They're already getting sprayed on upon from DEADEYES from far away as well. So Leo Esports, this is the do and die mission for them. They are going to have to take on the fight. They are going to have to try and stop either of these two teams in their tracks, or hold on till the Blues catch on to them and then try and get some more defeat points, because they're only sitting at 2 points as of yet.
Well, certainly only 2 defeat points in the favor of Leo Esports, and the numbers are also not in their favor. It's an outnumbered fight for them, but they have to pick this fight. A perfect grenade could have been a perfect grenade from the side of GE Venom, but Dami has been high. Dami has been brought down to a sliver of HP. The way both these
apologies there. There was a little bit of a hiccup over there, but apart from that, we're back in the fight and the that it is going to be T2K along with High Voltage right next to each other. T2K 11 defeats that they've got, Shadow. I mean, this time around, again, it has to be definitely bad luck if you don't get this team to win, because T2K is looking spot on with the way they're able to take on the fights, take on the information, and then control the retaliation that any team has thrown in them in the past 5 minutes.
Well, certainly T2K are definitely looking so very aggressive, but all the people watching the stream, we are very sorry for the technical issue, for the audio issues, but everything has been fixed right now. And T2K, like Blotter was mentioning, they are picking fight with the plus of High Voltage right now, and 12 finishes Blotter already in the hands of T2K. Looks like this is again to lose, but they don't have the best position inside the circle. They first have to pick fight with the plus of High Voltage. If they manage to get the entire eastern control in their favor, I think this game could be theirs. On the other side of the map, we have IHC also going up against the plus of DRS, and through a single grenade, DRS has been eliminated at the 6th position. And High Voltage also looking so very strong, 7 elimination points, but the numbers, they don't have the numbers. It's a 3v4 fight against the players of T2K, where T2K have the height advantage as well.
Absolutely. I mean, like you said, they are kind of punched into a corner towards the edge of the zone. Now, that is the only thing that is troubling me for the win and chicken dinner for T2K. On the other front, like you perfectly mentioned, we are only left with 4 more teams. And in that, we do have IHC, we do have Raw, along with High Voltage, as well as Venom DE. So, big names that T2K is going to have to falter down through in order to get this chicken dinner. But slowly and surely, they are taking on the fights. They are now pushing on ahead against the players of RW and Raw. One of the players has already been dropped down, and from that, Yedauda is the man who's going to be trying to lead the charge, or if not lead, he's going to at least retaliate the position coming in from the side of T2K, and that in turn is a perfect nade that Yedauda cooked and threw to get rigged down, and from that, this attack that T2K had, the momentum that T2K had, has been stolen away from them. And this is the moment that a third party could be brought in, and T2K themselves could be sandwiched. From one side is High Voltage, from the other could very well be Raw.
Definitely, they are getting sandwiched between these two teams. And look at the position of Yeta Uta, the way he's crawling his way towards the side of T2K, especially towards the side of Jane. Jane has no idea, but the perfect spray that is coming from the side of Jane gets becomes the reason for the demise of one of the player from the side of Raw officials, and Sandesh. Well, what he's going to do? Nothing, because Yeta Uta takes him down instantly and gets the confirmation, also bringing down the numbers of T2K, leaving only 2 players inside the game. Seog is being hunkered down by 2 players of Raw officials. The aggression that is coming from the side of Raw officials right now, T2K is not able to stand up against that aggression, and Rig, the only man standing, for how long can he survive? And the answer is not for very long, as T2K has been eliminated after a dominating performance with 12 elimination at 4th position. And now Raw officials, they have the entire control of the northern side, but they don't have the circle. They have to move a little bit inside the zone, and High Voltage is giving them some trouble in doing so.
Absolutely, the nades being thrown and the Molotovs being utilized from the side of High Voltage Jiggle are going to be cause for concern for the players of Raw. But the best part was majority of that information was only yet outer that High Voltage has, because the other players have already created a flank, and that is in turn going to be helping out the players of Raw. But in all of that, the biggest kerfuffle and commotion that is being created in the lobby right now is that third team that's going to be IHC in the background. And look at them, the confidence that they're roaming around in their vehicles and trying to understand where exactly are the opponents at, how exactly can we drop them down. If not, we're going to run them down. But for now, they've got no information, as Raw and High Voltage are so close. Jiggle and Yarauta are right next to each other. It is a matter of maximum 2 to 5 seconds before each of the other provides an information, but it seems like High Voltage themselves are divided, because from the back is going to be Yetauta pushing on their luck and pushing on his luck, and it seems it's going to be stolen away from him, because High Voltage's Jiggle was able to stop him down. And on the front, as we can see, UMP in a hand, Praveen is able to bring down Godless from IHC, and indeed a difficult thing that IHC is going to have to face right now is that their aggression is just not going to be enough, because High Voltage, the momentum that they're moving on along with, it is extreme. And with that, the flank that High Voltage has created right now, it is all pouncing down like a Hail Mary storm on IHC.
The circle blotter, the circle is in the control of IHC. Definitely, high voltage are having a. They don't have the circle. They are definitely a force to be reckoned with in this particular game. The aggression that's coming from the side of high voltage is definitely super impressive. The patience they kept when the fight with the between the players of T2K and Raw was happening, now they are being rewarded because of that. But still, the winner chicken dinner. They only have 3 seconds when the wall of death will start closing in, and they have to move out of the covers, and that is exactly the moment for which IHC is waiting for.
Absolutely right now, like you perfectly mentioned, IHC, they're waiting for that and they are going to pounce on upon for that as Alex, perfect retaliation coming in from his side. 9 defeat points confirmed. The opening that he was waiting for has been provided. Praveen, the only player surviving, and with that, without being allowed to mow him down, IHC is going to be the chicken dinner winner team right here with an incredible feat, an incredible number going in their favor. The team that in the previous game I was pointing out is kind of missing from the action is back in action, of course, as they walk away with a high fragging game. I believe 10 in total is the amount of eliminations that they were able to get, defeat points that they were able to get. We're just going to get that confirmed, but we know 10 points they are getting for the chicken dinner, which is definitely going to be boosting them up, boosting their morale up. And there we have it, the final elimination. It was 11 in total. 21 points is what they get. Wow, what a game that was. It was chaotic, definitely for sure, Shadow. But at the same point of time, it was the most important game that could be played for so many of these teams right there.
Well, certainly, yeah. And I think Blotter, the only thing we need for the teams to perform is start criticizing them. The moment we start criticizing any single team,
Right.
then very next game they get a winner chicken dinner. Last game we were talking about IHC, how IHC are not able to perform on day number 3, and there is IHC getting a beautiful chicken dinner for themselves with a dominant performance. At the same time, the patience they showcased when all the fight was happening, they waited for the final moment. They waited for the players of high voltage to come out in the open because they knew they had the control of the circle. And high voltage, they have to leave their covers when the wall of death, when the blue will start closing in.
Absolutely, and again, it seems like they have worked it all out. They've understood what was going on wrong, and now having turned that around, they're looking really phenomenal, sensational to be walking away with this chicken dinner. With that, let's also talk about the most valuable player coming in from this game for us today. It is going to be T2K's Rig. Oof, T2K, your prediction, they were deadly.
Well, certainly they were deadly. T2K, the way they were picking fight with the players of Raw officials, also, yes, they were kind of sandwiched in that situation. One side were the players of high voltage, the other side it was the
Exactly.
players of Raw officials. That's why they couldn't do too much in the situation. But the entire game, they were dominating. The way they were grabbing so many elimination points, definitely this is going to help them in the leaderboard. So, consistent performance at least is coming from the side of T2K, if not a chicken dinner.
Absolutely, and that consistency is key. That is something that we've spoken about time and time again, and that is what this team is showcasing and is resilient for. Same is the case for high voltage as well. You know, they have definitely showcased that sort of resilience from day one. But commendable effort from Raw, of course, because the previous game as well as this one, they are looking very good. With that, let's move ahead and also talk about how the top leaders worked out to be. And that is going to be right here, the top players of the game. We know who the MVP was, but following up and close is going to be High Voltage's Prabeen with 3 eliminations of his own, 693 damage that he was able to dish out.
Well, certainly he was dishing out a lot of damage, and Rig also being at number one in terms of the damage, 822 damage that he was dishing out. Highest elimination also coming from the side of Rig of T2K. Sandesh having the highest assist. So overall, it was entirely a T2K day.
It was. For this game, it most certainly was. They were all over the place, and again, they were just chucked out a little too early. That, of course, is something that they're not going to be too happy about. But apart from that, as we can clearly see right here in the match summary, they're a part of the eliminations, they're part of the damages, they're part of the healing, they're part of the assists. Mostly everything done right for T2K. With that, we have the match rankings where IHC did get the chicken dinner, thus they've got the 21 points and will find themselves on the third spot in the overall ranking. But High Voltage, with 12 eliminations of their own, T2K with 12 eliminations of their own as well, are not that far behind from IHC.
Well, certainly they are not so far behind, but DRS Gaming, this time they showed signs of improvement, grabbing 5 total points for them still, but still not the performance we wanted. Elementrix, their misery is not ending. They're sitting on the 15th spot with 0 points. TRZ, after showcasing good performance, good aggression in 2 games, this time they failed to do so, sitting on the 14th with only 0 points. SKYLIGHTZ, their misery from day 1 is continuing on day number 3 as well. Not even a single good game that has been showcased by the players of SKYLIGHTZ. This is very shocking, Plotter.
It definitely is. It is most certainly something that nobody could have predicted. But one thing is for certain, that when you end up changing your lineup, there is going to be a little bit of a grace period that you're going to have to face. The team is going to have to face. The organization is going to have to face, and that is something that we can clearly see based on the gameplay that is being showcased from the side of SKYLIGHTZ. But again, we're still in week 1. Week 1 is not yet done. This is just day number 3. So there is still a lot of time left for them to pick up the pace, to buck up, and just, be that much more as perfect as they can be, as synergistic is the word that they can be. But again, that only time will tell if they are able to reach that marker or not, at least for SKYLIGHTZ. But on the other side, there are so many other teams. Again, like I was pointing out, Raw. I mean, this is one of those teams that has definitely showcased the best resilience in the entire lobby thus far, because they rise and rose from the shadows, so to say. And one point of time, they were so close to SKYLIGHTZ as well in terms of the points as well as the overall ranking. But now they're leading leaps and bounds again ahead of SKYLIGHTZ.
Well, certainly they are definitely leading. Even so many other teams have also showcased signs of improvement in terms of the points they have accumulated on day number 2 and day number 3 as well. But let's have a look at the highlights in case any of you watching the stream has missed the action of the previous game.
Well, this saw Venom and DT go head on head against each other. It was when.
Well, certainly, talking about T2K, 12 defeat points in their favor. They were dominating the entire lobby, but in the final few moments when top 4 teams were remaining, it was Raw officials. They annihilated the players of T2K, and all credit goes to Yeta Uta. The way this guy crawled his way towards Jane had no idea where exactly Yeta Uta is coming in, and that became the demise of the players of T2K.
Absolutely. Again, not what we anticipated, but at one point of time, when they had 12 defeats, all 4 players standing, it looked like it could be their game. The zone just went away from them. They had so much of trouble to deal with, so many teams to deal with, which eventually resulted in not being their day. But that's absolutely fair and square, because they got a perfect amount of points for themselves, and I'm sure they're going to be hungry for more, because now we've got 2 more games remaining for now, and that means Erangel is done, Sanhok is done. The only one map that is left is going to be Miramar, and that too, back-to-back Miramar is what we've got now. Sanhok and Erangel done. What is your expectation? And those were very, very quick games, right, Shadow? So from Miramar, what is going to be your expectation?
Oh, talking about Miramar, definitely I want to see some sniper action, because I think in 3 days, it was only one bolt action shot that we saw today. So I want some more sniper action. Actually, not the sniper action. I want to see some vehicle explosions happening and multiple players being eliminated. But let's have a look at the schedule again, that which team performed how on which map. Sanhok was entirely in the favor of DEADEYES, guys. Erangel was in the favor of NBES, and previous Erangel, it was all about IHC. And like Blotter mentioned, it is time for Miramar, where Group B will be sitting out.
Absolutely, and Group B, we have 4MV, T2K, DEADEYES guys, and Bad Intentions as well. So those are the teams that we are not going to see in this first Miramar of the day. But apart from that, now is the time to answer the age-old question, and hopefully, fingers crossed, turn our prediction from 0 to 1. What team are you going to be rooting for a chicken dinner, Shadow?
I want to go with SKYLIGHTZ Gaming, but okay, Abrat Slayers.
Alright, ASL. That is definitely an interesting pick coming in from your side. ASL, you think, could be the ones walking away with a chicken dinner. Who knows? This previous game, they were caught out pretty dirty again. That happens while making a rotation that you have to be careful of. But from my side, This time around, I would love to see IHC stand up true and tall. IHC Esports get a chicken dinner for themselves, and that is something that hopefully nobody can stop them. Let's find out, because in all of that, one team that I still am kind of thinking about is like you said, right, Skylight Gaming, and the way that they were able to play in the previous in the last day, yesterday, day before as well. So they're also one team that can very well climb up top, but I want to see IHC Esports get a chicken for themselves.
Oh, you want to see double chicken dinner? Because
Exactly,
up until now
exactly.
we
It's
haven't
high
seen
time
that.
now.
But it's
Back
just
to
day number
back.
3. It's too much to ask for.
It is back-to-back time, because the momentum that IHC is rushing in with, and now in this game they actually showcased resilience as well from taking on fights
Yeah.
too early, is the best thing, and that is all that we want from the players of IHC. So let's find out if they're going to stick to the same mark or not. With that, the flight path is going to be on our screens as we jump in to match number 4 of the day, with Miramar on our screens. The deserty playing fields of this battleground are going to be very, very deadly. But the flight path is what will determine that. And more importantly, perhaps today we can go down south based on where the zone is. I mean, till now the zone has not really gone down south towards Chumacera or Montenueno for that matter. But we'll find out in just a minute.
We'll find out where the first circle is gonna be. But there is no major change that is coming in terms of the drop locations. The Venom again going towards the side of Puerto. In Impala, we have the players of TRZ. SITM might be heading towards the side of Los Leones, where the players of I8 also likes to drop in. But Los Leones is a big city. Two teams can coexist without initiating a fight against each other. But talking about Elementrix, yesterday's Miramar, I'm sorry, day before yesterday's Miramar, Elementrix showcased good performance. So good in terms of the rotation, but not in terms of the points that they got in that particular one. And I can already hear the gunshots being fired. So I want to see where exactly the action is happening. But talking about the first circle, this time we have a southern circle, a Chumacera circle, and looks like the fight is happening in the city of Los Leones.
Absolutely, it seems like SITM seem to have caught on a dirty rat right around, and that dirty rat is going to be Sealy Sports. Well, again, we'll come back to that. I'm not entirely sure. I'm not naming names right now. Just pointing out what I see, because these are just some colorful dots. And one thing that clearly can be showcased from these colorful dots is nobody is, well, majority of them are away from the zone. Talk about Mabitex, talk about SKYLIGHTZ Gaming. Yeah, this is going to be a very important rotation from their side. And for that, they better start early, because they're so far out. The sooner they start, the better off they're going to be. But for now, again, the most important thing is to get the loot segregated and not be a part of those fights, and not be a part of early first blood situations. That is where we seem to be going towards between Leo Esports. And is that NB? Yes, it is. NB Esports right around the corner inside the compound with the DBS is going to be Mr. Smokey. Along with that, Fist Boy, my apologies, over there from the side of Neo is going to be pushing on ahead. And NB, he backs out. He reads the situation so perfectly. Smokey, you need some cover, mate. And no, you don't run away from that, because you just spotted yourself from the window. And as he tries to run back, of course, Fist Boy, he was so very easily able to drop him dead, because after all, it was an easy bait that Fistboy created, and that in turn has helped him out. Along with that, now, of course, a second elimination that we have seen in this game. So could be another one of those very swift Miramars that we could be in for. But for now, Leo Esports, not the kind of start they anticipated, sadly, after having left Mr. Smokey in the dead. They are going to run away. The sooner the better, of course, is going to be their decision making over here, because the more time they give to NB Esports, the more troublesome it is going to get for them. And thankfully for now, they'll easily get out of that. Well, easily I say, but of course they've lost out on Mr. Smokey, so it is going to be a hard sell to call it easy. But hey, 3 is better than 2. And NB Esports is Mondo. I mean, this guy, he is just always hungry for some defeats, for some eliminations. And why would you not be, with the kind of caliber that Mondo is capable of? On day 1, we saw that. Today also, we're seeing it again and again. But now that they've got the entirety of this area to themselves, let's slowly recuperate, get the loot segregated, and then move ahead.
Well, Leo Esports, every single time today on day number 3, they are facing a drop location clash or something that is happening because of which their rotations are being cut off. So, Leo Esports definitely need to do something different because maybe their strategies have been read out by the opponent teams and that is not working in their favor, because of which they are facing early casualties. Even they are losing that close frontal battles also. This is something that is very shocking for me when it comes to Leo Esports, because Leo on day number 1, the way they were winning every single fight, now they're not able to do so. So they have to rethink what is happening wrong with them. On the other hand, well, IHC, this team, they have picked themselves up. They faced a little downfall in day number 2, but the way they are performing today, every single time they are in a very good spot. Right now they are in the city of El Hezar, so definitely loot is not going to be a big problem. They're going to have good resources in their hands, and already they have those M416 M16s for that are necessary in the map of Miramar. Talking about Stalwart Esports, this team, well, they are yet to get that winner chicken dinner for themselves.
But they are a resilient one. They aren't gonna fall back, step down that easy. And that is something I'm very certain of from the side of this team. But overall, though, when it comes to the way Stalwart is playing, they're getting in their game. They're getting comfortable in the battleground. They're having good fights. They're taking perfect decisions in terms of how they end up wanting to participate in the fight or not. Also, is something we've seen as well. Retain information, and so to say, get back to the opponent later. Now, all of that for Stalwart works out okay, but for other teams, it is still a long list of things that can be changed, perhaps, or can be, of course, introduced in terms of how fights are taking place. And in that name comes in Elementrix specifically for today. Just specifically for today, because I've seen them in a couple of moments. The fights that they've taken has kind of gone array, and the position that they were in, they should not have initiated the fight first things first. Should not have been part of the fight altogether itself, because they were so close to the edge of the zone. But nevertheless, this is a new map, and seems like we are in a bit of a podcast hour right now, as teams are taking it slow on the first Miramar of the day.
Well, certainly on the other side, I8 versus DE Venom and Domi has been taken down, and instant confirmation is also coming in. That means one more defeat point for the players of I8. This is something I want from the side of I8, because this is a team that is known for the aggression, especially the duo of Sky and Nova.
Yeah, Novax and the Sky, they've been in the limelight so many a times, based on the bonding that they've created in terms of the way that they push on into a fight. But this time around, again, they're still trying to find a foothold, in this PMPL SA. And that, again, on day 3 is maybe something that they're still trying to figure out. Could be could be a thing that can change by the end of the week itself. But like you pointed out, we've seen a different side of this team as well. But nevertheless, for now, they're looking absolutely phenomenal, with 3 defeat points already confirmed for their side, whereas all the other teams are yet to find their first, or rather draw their first blood, simply put, apart from NB Esports.
Well, certainly NB Esports. Now we talk about in other teams also. SATM also, they lost one of their own in the very start of the game. Leo Esports were the one that faced the first blood situation. So this Miramar is again starting on a very aggressive note. Teams are not shying away from the fights. This is something that is very impressive in this particular South Asian region because of the change in the point structure. Most of the team, in fact majority or all of the teams, have been able to adapt their gameplay on day number 3. Now they are working towards those elimination points, because they do realize that placement points are not enough to land you in top 12 position or in top 5 position. You have to go for the elimination point, and sooner or later you have to change your gameplay, you have to change your game style. And that is something which the players of Bad Intention were struggling to do so. Even the players of Maptex Esports are also not having the best of the time on day number 3 today.
Absolutely, but right now it seems like Venom DE is against the players of TRZ, where he's been able to drop down Mad Cat as they were trying to make a rotation. Seems either Venom DE is alone by himself from the looks of it. The colors are so very close in the mini-map, but clearly it is Venom DE's final player, the only player in this fight that has taken on, of course, the entire army of TRZ. Mad Cat was dropped down, but sadly was not able to, really was not able to get the point, as he was just knocked and not eliminated. With that, for the side of Venom DE, this is not a good game, or not a good start to the game, because they're left with just a one-man army for I8. Or never mind that, because the one final player, Krita, is going to try his level best to get some points before they get eliminated. He was able to bring down the player of Eliminate 8, but no conversion of defeat points as of yet, which in turn is going to be the demise of Venom DE, the first team to get eliminated in this game. As Eliminate Crew pick up the pace. They definitely have lost on Woofers, but that's absolutely okay, because they've got 4 defeat points to answer for that. But again, they need a lot many more. As they push through, we do have DRS on our screens as well. And alongside that, it is going to be Abrupt Slayer Sleepy trying his level best to connect those sprays. I'm sure he was able to get it on the vehicle, but the second time he was able to get it on Rules OG altogether itself. Quite a lot of damage done over there. So it is going to be very difficult for DRS to now get away from that compound, because they see trouble brewing right around the corner.
Well, certainly trouble is there, and Abrupt Slayers, they have the height advantage, so definitely they can have a lot of information on the teams that are present on the low ground, but somewhere else. SKYLIGHTZ Gaming are going up against the players of Raw Officials, and trades are coming in. Not the trades. Mafia Ninja has been taken down and eliminated. It was only Mafia Ninja holding on to this compound, and Raw Officials meld blood and they rush directly to that compound, and a 1v4 situation was too much for Mafia Ninja, and now SKYLIGHTZ Gaming, they have been reduced to 3 men. So what's gonna happen? And look at Liquid. Liquid.
Sitting at a very good position, of course. Getting a lot of information as well. But can he deliver that to his teammates and then utilize that to get those defeat points? But apart from the teams in the center of the zone, there are so many are still making a rotation towards it. We've got Illuminate 8 coming in from the south. Same is the case for TRZ as well. Right behind them is going to be SEAL Esports. And around in the vicinity is DRS, just patiently waiting. And look at IHC. I mean, they are cheeky. They are cheeky devils. This is the same thing that I noticed from them in the previous game as well. They held it back. They held themselves back for quite a long time, which in turn provided them with a clear opening to get into the zone and understood exactly what was going on in the zone, because so many teams were taking on fights against each other and completely missed out on IHC. But never mind that, Illuminate 8 crew are jumping in right next to the compounds along with TRZ. TRZ's seal shot was sprayed on a little bit, but up on top is going to be Raw as well. So Illuminate 8 crew not in the best of positions right here in this compound.
Well, this particular circle, it was a southern circle, and it was favoring the drop location of I8, and they were able to grab 4 defeat points for themselves, but in the process of doing so, they lost 2 of their own, and now they do have a good compound to the name, but they don't have the number. So they have to realize that the more noise they are making in the lobby, the more attention they are grabbing, and the outnumbered fight is not so easy to win. But right now, 2 teams are trying to contest this particular hill. DRS and Raw Officials, grenades were being launched, but nothing came out of those grenades, so both these teams need to be a bit careful. On the other side, AJ lobs a grenade to the perfection and takes down 1 player from the side of NBES, and looks like Fistboy with a UMP45 is also retaliated, and No Fear has been taken down.
Illuminate crew get eliminated right here with 4 elimination points of their name, and with that, Raw Officials from up top, as we were mentioning earlier, that compound that Illuminate crew decided to be a part of is not going to be A-OK, because now they've been eliminated and SEAL Esports has jumped into exact same crosshair situation that, of course, Illuminate crew were eliminated from. That is going to be Raw, and Raw Officials are just getting warmed up. They have the crosshairs towards the compound, and we can see a perfect flank from Yetauta being created. Oh, what a perfect throw that was from QB right there from SITM. But Alex, just with a sliver of HP, was able to get away from that, and also was able to actually not only that, but get a defeat point as well, as he was able to bring down the numbers of SITM. But in doing so, they've taken a trade as Zeol is also called down. But from far away. Are they getting sprayed on? It is the blues, never mind the far away. It is the blues that's going to be hurting them the most. It is stage 3. He could have definitely helped out Zeol, but they've decided not to. Because Stalwart was right around on the other side of the mountain, other side of that valley. And that is something that IHC will not be, of course, inviting.
Well, certainly. Look at Circle, Maptex Esports, they are right in the center along with the players of Raw Official, both of them having a very good position, but right now SITM is going up against the players of IHC. They don't have the numbers because Zero is the only man standing and QB is bleeding out. There is no chance of a revival coming in this situation. It's a 1v2 fight and Alex with a grenade is looking for an opening or some damage to dish out onto Jory of SITM, but SITM Zero still surviving. And they have 27 seconds only because then that is when the blue will start closing in. Sooner or later, Zero, he has to come out in the open. Or maybe these grenades that are coming from the side of LX could be the reason of his demise.
Let's see. For now, it is definitely looking like Jiro is the one in control from SITM, the one final player remaining. But now Godless has been able to get his teammate revived, and Demo's going to be part of the fight as well. With 3v1 situation, Jiro's got nowhere to go. No matter how hard he tries to hide, it is not going to be an easy task because from both sides, the Molotovs as well as the nade parade is going to be bringing in. But in all of that, IHC needs to be careful that they still need to push on in towards the final moments of the game. And right now, they've got too much of utility being utilized in this entire fight in a 3v1 situation, which they know is a 3v1, so they might as well just jump in and of course get him eliminated. But it seems like that was not the case. Communication going wrong right there. Not one but two of the players from IHC go down. This is an ultimate battle between Jiro against Godless, because Godless was the one who initiated it. But never mind that, because Jiro is the man who's still going to be standing. Godless does have entire lump sum of health, but Jiro does not, and the blues are going to be catching up to the... Well, never mind. Jiro's going to be able to perfectly get that first aid popped, and now it is a 1v1 between these two. Behind the trucks, it is going to be Godless out in the blues. Same is the case for Jiro as well. These two players, it is all boiling down to who is the one who's going to be able to drop each other dead. It is going to be, of course, SITN's Jiro going down, but Godless does not have much to run away from because he's the only player surviving with only 2 defeat points confirmed. 3 first aids in the bag. This is a very difficult task that IHC's Godless is going to have to face as to how exactly should he face the ensemble of the entire lobby with 11 teams apart from his still remaining.
Valiant efforts from the side of Zero. 1v3 fight, he brought it down to 1v1 situation. Yes, he did lose, but valiant effort from his side. And like you mentioned, Godless is walking away from this fight, that particular fight as a winner, but only as a solo man. On the other side, well, not for very long, because Stalwart Esports finally finds him and put an end to him, and IHC has been eliminated at 12th spot with good elimination points in their favor. Now we have the players of Stalwart Esports right on the top in terms of the elimination points, along with the players of NBES Esports. But in terms of the position inside the circle, Maptex and Raw Official, they have the perfect spot. Raw, they are in a 2v2 split, so they have to be very cautious. They have to be very careful of any kind of a rush that might be coming in their direction.
Indeed. Now this is a very good display of how the zone can play with the boys in the battleground, you know, and that's exactly what's taking place right here, where sadly so many of these players based on the zone are going to be caught out in the open. A few of them definitely have a compound, but compound that they cannot do much from. And as me and Shadow have been talking about it, you need to get those elimination points. That means you need to initiate fights. And just a matter of 30 seconds, we are going to be looking at stage 6. So a lot more damage can be expected from the blues as well. As on our screens is going to be DRS trying to hold on to the position as well as try and catch out the Stalwart rotation. We can clearly see that Rules OG has spotted or had spotted Stalwart making rotation from that side. But right now, he is absolutely clueless. He can hear the noise coming in from Elementrix's vehicle, but never mind. He is in a safe space. DRS is Gyante though. He's out in the open. I'm sure he's out there just to get some information. But there we have it. This is what I was waiting for. The map. And now, it clearly tells us Mabitex, perfect controlled position that they're in. DRS, we just saw, are looking very good. DRS is Gyante, I guess in rotation he was caught out. But till now, ASL was making rotation right next to him. Raw is right next to him. They have not yet spotted him at all. Or I believe they have. Because one of the players from DRS has gone down. So it could be Gyante himself, but we'll come back to that thought because right now, Stalwart have been able to get away from the clutches of DRS, but the fight is not yet done. Climbing on top of this mountain is not an easy one. From one side, we saw was Elementrix. From the other, ASL is making a rotation as well. Stalwart's definitely got their hands tied right now.
Well, certainly, there is a cluster of teams that is forming towards the southern eastern side, and surviving this cluster and coming to the top is not going to be so easy. On the northern side, we have the players of Leo Esports having the entire control, and looks like they're already contesting the position of the players of Maptex Esports. But look at Gyante, he's in a very tricky spot. All the 4 players of ASL right in front of him, and he's hiding, not moving any muscle, not giving any sound cue. Because the moment he gives any sound cue to the players of Abrupt Slayers, his demise is confirmed. And just look at that! Chari is right in front of him. He's not giving any sound.
He's been there for such a long time. What is going on? ASL players, I saw Bishal and Chari go right next to his vehicle. His body's not even blown apart. How can they just think that there is and assume that there is nobody over there? Well, never mind the buggy or whatever the vehicle, because in the end, Gyante, he's playing the clever game because he is surviving and he's surviving for long and he's surviving for destruction and mayhem, and that is something that his teammates are doing on the other side of the game altogether itself, because we saw TRS's 2 players are in the center of the zone in the compound. Gyante, you clever devil. What are they? This is just brutal to see, because ASL once they are told about this, it's not just 1 or 2 players, it's the entire team of ASL, and they're taking shots against Stalwart. Stalwart themselves have absolutely no idea what's going to be going down, because Raw is right next to the corner and Raw can bring in a third-party situation. That's exactly what Claw does with a Scarlet in his hand. A perfect spray is going to be damaging the positioning and advantage that ASL thought they had in their hand, because Stalwart also have dropped down 2 of their players. Of course, the revival is going to be right around the corner, but sadly for ASL, they have been eliminated, and I'm sure as soon as they view this clip, they are not going to believe it as to what just happened right there. 4 of them were right next to the lobby. Oh, my apologies, were right next to the buggy. Have been thrown into the lobby because they were not able to spot out that one player from DRS. The real soldiers, therefore, I guess they're called.
Well, certainly the real soldiers, without losing any single player, they managed to get 10 defeat points, and they're potentially looking to dominate from the southern eastern side. Right now, picking up a fight with the players of Raw. Perfect grenade comes in, finds one player of the Raw, but the trade is also coming in as action has been picked off. And I see with that UMP-45 in the hands is looking for a knock onto Reaper, and definitely gets a confirmation and the knock also, and gets a knock onto the other player, Claw, as well. And now Zodi, the last man standing, not standing for a very long time. Raw officials have been annihilated in this particular fight, and Stalwart Esports, their elimination numbers go up to the 13, and they have the good position towards the southern eastern side, as long as they are careful of Gyante, the man. I don't know how he's alive.
He just played a perfect prank right there. The most devilish prank. That worked out in his favor, thankfully, of course. And now, the best part is, he's given away information to his teammates who are sitting pretty much in the center of the zone. He got into the vehicle. We can see DRS's Gyante in the cyan color. He got into the vehicle, got out of that fight, got out of that situation. And now, hopefully, finds his way back to his teammates, because Stalwart is busy taking on shots against the players of Seal themselves. Now, Stalwart are on a high of their own after all. They are looking very good because of the amount of eliminations that they've been able to accumulate. Is that going to be enough? That is the most important thing right now. Or will there be a team that could stop them in their tracks? NB Esports, the Shiki one that showcased their perfect colors in the previous game, or rather the Erangel game earlier, are still around the corner with all 4 players still surviving. But this could go to either of these teams. Seal Esports, they're not in a good position, but I would love to see them get out of that precarious little dip that they're in.
Well, definitely Seal Esports this time they have managed to survive up until top 8 position, and I think I spoke too soon because Stalwart Esports tops finds one player of Seal Esports Aero, but courtesy to his teammate, he's in the close proximity to go for the rescue mission. But before that, a grenade comes in, and Seal Esports now their numbers have been reduced to only two players, Becca and Rock. They better be careful of those grenades and the molotovs coming in their direction. On the other side, we have the players of Stalwart Esports going up against the players of TRZ, and Steel Shot has already been eliminated. Stalwart Esports, they have the perfect position required in the map of Miramar. They have the control of the mountain area. They have uphill angle also onto so many teams. They have the information also, but they don't have the circle, as circle has taken a bit of a shift, and they have to move few meters to transition themselves inside the safety net of the circle. On the other side, Seal Esports with tooth and nail, they're fighting with the players of NB Esports, but they don't have the numbers, they don't have the position. Right now, NB Esports, they are going for the rescue mission onto their fallen comrade, and after that, they're again back as a 4-man squad. But Rock finds a knock and a confirmation also onto two players of NB Esports, making the fight even Steven in terms of the numbers.
Even is going to be will have to be repeated again, because right now it is going to be, of course, Stalwart helping them out. But of course, as you mentioned, Seal Esports are going to be able to utilize this opportunity. With a two-man army, they're still able to, of course, have that perfect opportunity to get them get the elimination points more and increased. Rogue and Becca are the only two right here who slowly but surely have been able to bring out a lot of nades, but now only with one Molotov left in Rogue's hand. This is the time to utilize it, mate. As he does, sadly, NB Sports walk away from that area. Fistboy along with his teammate are not looking too good, because the Blues have caught up to them as soon as they get out of there. This is all going to be boiling down to how Rogue plays it out, because Becca has been dropped down as well. He needs to give that revival. Fistboy has been able to get a smoke in, but sadly will not be able to survive. Team NB Esports get eliminated at 8th. But 6 teams remaining right now, and there is still hope for Seal Esports. But Stalwart, they are on a domination right now with 16 eliminations confirmed, and yet there are still so many players remaining. This entire lobby has been dominated by the players of Stalwart, but now this could very well change. With 17 eliminations, Stalwart has taken a knock. Action has gone down, but his teammates are around the corner. Who's going to be the one who's going to be picking up the race right here? It is going to be DRS Gaming or not? No, it will not be. They are not going to be allowed, because Leo Esports jump in hand against DRS, but numbers are not going to be favoring them, which in turn help out DRS. But will they have the time to get their teammate revived? Rules OG, I think, is lost, because Mabit Exports right around the corner. But again, after all the things that Gyante has gone through, DRS Gaming, a valiant effort coming in from their side as they find themselves in the top 4 right now.
Well, certainly they are in the top 4, but look at the elimination point with Stalwart Esports have grabbed 17 elimination, and they are still going up strong. Yes, definitely Maptex Esports are trying to dominate the lobby from the northern side, potentially looking to have the entire northern control to the name, but they have to fight with the players of DRS, and the position has not been given away. Gyante, being the sneaky player that he is, his position is not revealed to the players of Maptex Esports, but looks like the double-edged sword. The smoke that has been deployed to deny vision has given away his position, and now grenades, the deadly grenades are coming from the side of Maptex Esports. Maptex also having information onto the players of Seal, and Baron finds a beautiful knock onto Killer Whitey. Now Gyanta is going to retaliate, but before he goes for the rescue mission, the confirmation is already there, and now Gyante is left all by himself. A 1v4 fight against the players of Maptex Esports or Stalwart. They are raining death and destruction onto the players of Seal Esports, and Rock has been brought to 10 HP, the last man standing. He has to patch himself up. The first aid comes in time, but not for long, as that M416 spray that was coming in from the side of Stalwart Esports becomes a reason for the demise of Seal Esports. Now we are left with only 3 teams and 7 players remaining, but 19 finishes Blotter, 19 finishes to Stalwart Esports.
What have they eaten today in breakfast? I would love to know. What have they eaten as they jumped into the game right now? I would love to know. The way that this team has played, it is absolutely sensational. But now the numbers have been stolen away from them. But will that matter or not is something that only time can answer, because it is going to be Mabitex's 4 players jumping in to the cause to try and take away this chicken dinner from the players of Stalwart. But right now, before they do so, they have to deal with the final player of DRS. That's going to be Gyante, the man who was able to not only once but twice, of course, just completely snail pace away against 4 individual teams. But right now it is all boiling down to this final fight, Wally versus Baron. Again, there are 4 players from the side of Mabitex and only 2 coming in from the side of Stalwart. Top along with, of course, Nurze Kese from the Mabitex side. He is creating a perfect flank angle. There we go. And just like that, it is going to be Stalwart falling down. Tops goes down, but their numbers help out Mabitex as the Blues have caught up to the players of Stalwart. It is Mabitex Esports walking away with a perfect chicken dinner in their hand. But an incredible feat, incredible dominating play being showcased from the side of Stalwart Esports. There was no way anybody could have stopped them. But again, in the end, they had to get out in the open. There were the teams, there were players like DRS as Gyante who were waiting to pounce on upon him. And just like that, Stalwart do not get the chicken dinner, but Mabitex certainly do. The patience has rolled off as they find themselves in the overall ranking on the 11th spot. What a game that was. What a finish that was coming in from the side of Stalwart, from the side of DRS, from the side of course, Mabitex, the controlled, aggressive play that they showcased right there. But all in all, I mean, yeah, you have to give cahoots to Top from Stalwart, the way he was dominating those fights, the number of eliminations he was able to walk away with from that one individual game. Ludicrous.
Well, certainly, yeah. I think Stalwart Esports, they have set a record of the elimination points, which is not going to be so easy to break for the teams to come in the future days, to come in the coming weeks also. So definitely Stalwart Esports, they were forced to reckon with in this particular one in the last Miramar. Last thing, it was 19 eliminations. I don't know if they got more after that, but 19 eliminations definitely Stalwart Esports are having in their hands. And the way they were trying to take the control from the southern side, they eliminated the players of Esports. They went on to take so many fights and they were winning every single fight. Where was Stalwart Esports up until now?
Absolutely. And again, maybe this is just the start. Again, we are reaching pretty much the end of our stream right here, where we've got one final game of Miramar left. But what a start. I mean, if that is the kind of points that you're going to be able to get for yourself in just one single game, yeah, this team is definitely back in the swing and they've understood the lobby. And now that is a deadly team that I'm sure other teams are going to be very cautious of going up against.
Stalwart at the same time, they were very consistent. Yes, they were not able to get a winner chicken dinner. Day number 1 and day number 2, they were so very consistent that without any chicken dinner, they were in the top 5. And with this kind of a performance on day number 3, I think Stalwart Esports are definitely again going to be in top 5. They don't need a chicken dinner. Without a chicken dinner, they are dominating the lobby. They are showcasing a consistent performance. So definitely Stalwart Esports is one of the favorites in the lobby.
For now, they most certainly are. And of course, as the journey progresses on forth, it is going to get that much more crazier, because we saw at the start of the day, it was 4MV who were leading the charge with 18 points. As the day has progressed on, we've seen the action from 4MV, but is it enough for them to hold on to that spot? For now, let's move ahead and have a look at the most valuable player from this game.
And is going to be tops, none other than from the side of Stalwart Esports with 7 eliminations. But look at the damage that this guy was dishing out. 1120 damage. That is a huge number. And tops along with the action from the side of Stalwart Esports. This duo, they were the main assaulters. They were raining death and destruction from so many teams from that up height angle, up top angle. So definitely Stalwart Esports, this game... the bar of expectations from the side of Stalwart Esports have risen to a great extent now.
Absolutely. Let's of course have a look at the top players as well. Let's find out what's going to be happening in the top players list. I believe it should be STE all the way through. Pretty much all the way through. In the top 3, they most certainly are. But apart from that, as we push ahead, we are going to be able to see what is going to be the case when it comes to the match summary. Well, again, I mean, you talk about the highest eliminations. We've got tops coming in from STE. We've got IC coming in from STE. I mean, there's a coming in from STE. This game was written for Stalwart. It's as simple as that. I mean, this match, I must confirm that, and of course reiterate that this match was written for STE Stalwart Esports. The way that they dominated. But I wonder if they'll be allowed to do so again. In fact, are they even playing the final game? I'd like to ask that first. They've got one final game on the map of Miramar where Group B, C, D, and E are going to be participating. So Stalwart is going to be there. Okay. Well. This is where things get really crazy, of course, because Stalwart Esports, they've got 19 elimination points. This is the highest till now, and it is again every single day we jump into the stream, the number just goes up and up, and maybe by the end of it, we're going to be probably looking at 25 eliminations by the end of week number one itself. By the way the numbers are going, but nevertheless, really good performance from Stalwart, as that is the reason why they find themselves on the top of the leaderboard. Alongside that, as we push ahead to the second page, we've got SKYLIGHTZ Gaming sitting on that 16th position, of course. Venom DE not have a good player as well. So yes, there's a lot that is going in this day number 3 in first week itself. There's a lot that has gone array based on how the teams were playing in day 1. Now it is a completely different play style that so many teams were not expecting to see. But again, there's still so much to offer from the PUBG gods, as every single time the zone changes, the stage changes, and with that, the fight changes. Let's move ahead and have a look at the highlights this time around, and what is going to be the case right here. This is the moment. No, this is not the moment. It comes in later. I just want to be able to see if the RSS Gyante moment is going to be showcased in this cap or not. Well,
I have
for now,
no
it
idea
seems
how
like,
that.
yeah, right, exactly.
Oh, even the players of Abrupt Plus are going to be very shocked when they are going to watch the stream.
Oh, they better be. They better be very, bamboozled as to how did we miss this spot? How could we have missed this spot? And again, the thing I was noticing was from the side of ASL's players, they were looking at a McLaren. From the side of course, our side, from Gyante's side, he was looking at a buggy. Now, there is a little bit of a clearance difference between the two. That could have been one thing, but that again is a highly unnecessary detail to get into after all, right? Because if there is a car, you better be able to spot and at least check if there is somebody there or not. But never mind, let's move ahead, have a look at the top players. The overall, that is going to be the overall ranking, of course, right now. And 4MV are still leading the charge, 109, 20-point lead for them.
Well, certainly the first team to break that 100 marker is going to be 4MV, 109 points to them. Highest elimination points up until now. Even the placement points are highest from their side. Stalwart Esports being on the second. No chicken dinner. Blotter, no chicken dinner, because of the consistency from the very first day that Stalwart Esports is bringing in. Now they are on the second spot after that fantastic game of Miramar with high elimination. But in the bottom, we have Seal Esports, Bad Intention, Elementrix. This is a very surprising name that I am seeing. Raw officials, DEADEYES guys. After one dominating game, DEADEYES guys are not able to deliver the performance again. So DEADEYES and Elementrix, these are the very two shocking names on the bottom of the leaderboard.
Exactly. And the leaderboard, again, when it started off on day 1, we had, again, names that we did not expect to be on the final few positions of the leaderboard. As we spoke about that changed on day 2. Now we're talking about that, it is changing on day 3. So as we progress towards the end of week 1, by the time we reach final day 5 of week 1 itself on Sunday, it is going to be a completely unexpected result. I think the storyboard is going to be flipping on itself, the way Stalwart is playing and pushing on against, of course, the aggressive force of 4MV. I believe maybe this game, once again, could be Stalwart walking away with a really good points for themselves, but they need 20 points to overcome 4MV, and in that, 4MV should not get a single point for themselves. For now, we jump on ahead towards the final game of Miramar once again.
Yes, exactly. The final game of day number 3 in the map of Miramar, where Group A will be sitting out. That means the team High Voltage, Venom, DEADEYES, Raw Esports, and 4M TRZ. They will be sitting out in this particular one. And again, Blotter, the dreaded question. The prediction for the last game.
Oof. Okay, yep. Yes. So when it comes to the play style that is being expected right here. Of course, I would love to see Stalwart Esports bring in that sort of a play once again, but that is going to be very, very difficult. So I am going to go with the players of SITM.
Interesting pick, because at this time also SITM, they were in a good spot every single time in the map of Miramar. SITM are able to showcase good rotations from their side, but okay,
You're
I
getting
want to
more.
go with Stalwart Esports. Okay,
All
they
right,
ought to
all
get
right.
this
So
one. They missed it. Now they should get it.
they have to get it, of course, but I'm not sure about how much are you able to, just because this is the only time that they get, right? The 10-15 minutes that we're talking right now, analytically about the game, is the only time that they get to reset and then get back into the game. And when you walk away with a game that finished with 19 eliminations in your favor, that clearly puts a lot of pressure on you, because the brain was forcing itself tenfolds in terms of the speed that it was wanting to run at. And so the amount of concentration that is required over there, that was absolutely ludicrous from Stalwart Esports. And if they're able to get this game in the bag, oh, hats off to Stalwart Esports. They deserve it for sure.
Well, certainly they deserve it, especially the way they have been performing since day number one, very first game. Stalwart Esports, the only thing they need is a chicken dinner. And maybe they could be the first team to topple over for MV. We don't know. Anything can happen if they're able to deliver the same kind of performance like the previous Miramar. Maybe from the second spot, we can see Stalwart Esports being on the top on the leaderboard. But talking about the flight path, this time the flight path is going from the southern side of Chumasera towards the side of La Cobreria. And talking about the drop location, towards the side of Prison and Los Higos, we have the players of Bad Intention. Bad Intention, well, they're not able to deliver the performance. They are struggling. They are struggling really hard in terms of the placement points, elimination points. They need to work on it. Yes, they are able to stay and sustain in the game for a very long time, but they are not able to grab those elimination points. And in this recent point structure, well, they have to focus on the eliminations. On the other side, in the city of Los Leones, we have the players of SITM and IAH. Last time, they went up against each other, and looking at the very first circle, this time SITM, maybe Plotter, your prediction can come true, because the circle is definitely favoring the players of SITM. But right now, we are facing drop clash somewhere else, and it is going to be the players of Leo and NBES, and Mr. Smokey, who was out there in the open, oblivious to the fact of the position of NBES, did receive some damage, but not enough to take him down. So he's going to patch himself up. Now the information is already passed on. Now Leo do know that there is a team present in the same drop location, same close proximity, but the first blood situation is going to be somewhere else. Elementrix are the one to get the first blood, to get the first defeat point for themselves, and this means a good start to them. But Seal Esports, the misery is still continuing. They lost one player already in the very first few minutes of the game, and Leo and NBES are going up against each other, especially when they are close to 2000 meters away from the circle.
Not what they anticipated, I'm sure about it. This is not the kind of play that Seal Esports themselves expected off of themselves in the first week itself. But that's what happens to you when you're a part of the battleground, and sometimes you're able to get the clutch, but sometimes you're not. And but sadly, the stat is that for Seal Esports, as of yet, majority of the times things are running away from them. That is something that they most certainly are going to have to work towards by the end of week one itself. But for now, as we walk away from that first blood conversation altogether itself, we do have NB Esports right close in proximity to another team, and they themselves are close to N. My apologies, I could not see there, but nevertheless, I mean, they themselves are 2,000 meters away from the zone itself. So quite a big distance that the teams are going to have to cover. NB Esports as well as Leo Esports. These are the two who are in close proximity to each other right here, and in the same apartment building. This is a stalemate situation. Definitely. I mean, Leo Esports, if they walk away from this, NB Esports are going to be able to hear it. They won't allow Mr. Smokey or, of course, us to get out of there that easy. Same is the case for Seek as well as Fistboy from NB Esports. Because Leo Esports is definitely not going to allow when they know for a fact that there's somebody watching out their back against them from the apartment building that they're in. So definitely a stalemate situation that they're in. And for now, they do have time. I mean, they've got ample amount of time. 4 minutes is more than ample to be able to try and make something out of this. But look at that. NB Sports' Fistboy. He's being so very subtle with the macros in his hand. So very quiet. And look at those movements that he's making. It is going to be barely anything, if noticeable, to the other team. Because the other team is running abouts. And that's not what you should be doing, Leo Esports. That is something that they need to, of course, factor in next time when they watch this fight. But once again, it's too early to predict because the numbers are definitely favoring Leo Esports. What do you think, Shadow?
Numbers are definitely favoring Lotter, but I don't understand. When things are not working for you, if plan A is not working, you can go to plan A, you can go to plan B. A certain drop location, you are every single time you are facing a clash, you can maybe for some time go to some different drop location, because last time also in Miramar, Leo Esports, they lost few of their players at the hands of NBES, and this time again a drop location clash is happening between these two teams. And Leo Esports, yes, they are in a safe position in the overall ranking. Let's find out what's going to happen. If this time they can turn things around, and it looks like it's not going to happen, as Mondo finds a perfect knock onto Liquid, and Fistboy takes a jump from the building to get the confirmation also, and he instantly gets a confirmation through a Uzi, only to be taken out by Mr. Smokey in a trade.
Indeed, that was really a good one because at least he was able to get one elimination point confirmed for himself, and now it's going to be all down to Leo Esports as to how exactly is Mr. Smokey with that perfect. Well, never mind the perfectness that could have been showcased from their side, because it is going to be the players of NB Esports who in this one have been able to stand tall. But for how long? Because it seems like Leo Esports' teammate HIGHVOLTAGE has pushed on his luck as well with an SD in his hand. He's going to try. Oh, never mind, he's going to change it back to a micro Uzi, which is then even better because the fire rate is going to be that much more. He can just turn all the way down. It's going to be going down the players of NB Esports, and just like that, NB Esports are annihilated. Yes, Leo Esports did lose out on two of their players, but HIGHVOLTAGE, what a perfect conversion there was. HIGHVOLTAGE has proved that a one-man team can definitely rule as well as long as you play the information correctly. And that's exactly what has taken place on the other front. Sports once again not having a good game. First they saw one of their players go down. Now as they make a rotation, one Becca has been lost to the cause from Gyante's Mini 14. This is most certainly not the play that was anticipated from them. But nevertheless, right now the question is going to be falling down towards DRS Gaming's Gyante as well, because he's 1200 meters away and the zone is slowly but surely, there we go, it has caught up to him. He's going to have to jump for that vehicle and run for it as well, because I don't see any of his teammates around the corner to be able to help him out. But looking at the center, looking towards the center, the teams around Los Leones, we've got quite a lot of names out there. We've got Illuminate Crew, we've got T2K, we've got ASL, Bad Intentions, along with 4MV. Which way is this cookie going to crumble on the final game of Miramar for day number 3?
Well, certainly, day number 3, a lot of rotations are coming from the northern side, where the players of Stalwart Esports are also making the rotation from Picado. They better be careful. Maybe they can gatekeep the players of SKYLIGHTZ Gaming, who are just behind them. DRS still in the blue. So many teams are still inside the blue. DEADEYES, in fact, are making a good rotation from the side of Impala, where they can easily find a clear pathway till the southern side, or to the coastline also. They can find a good spot for themselves in this particular circle. But talking about Leo Esports, yes, they have managed to reclaim their throne in their own drop location, but at the cost of what, Lotter? They lost 2 players. Yes, they managed to eliminate NBES. Yes, they are able to take the sweet revenge, but at the cost of what? 2 players. Now with only 2 players surviving, how far they can go in this game, this I have to see. But talking about the circle has taken a sudden shift, and the players of 4MV, they're right in the epicenter. They have the control of the circle. In fact, they are in a 2v2 split. So for now, they're definitely in a good position. Stalwart Esports might be looking for taking a northern dominant control. On the other side, we have the players of Seal Esports also getting one defeat point in their favor. DRS, well, they lost one of their own. Leo Esports standing with only 2 men. Seal Esports also down to 2. Rogue also finds one more knock onto Gyante. And the numbers of DRS are definitely dwindling down. They are only left with 2 players. On the other side, T2K, well, they managed to find good compound for themselves for now inside the circle with all the 4 players alive. But the domination that I want to see from the side of T2K is still missing. Yes, they showcased in one of the Erangel, but still the domination is absent. On the other side, we have the players of I8 going up against the players of Abrupt Slayers, and Chari has been eliminated. Abrupt Slayers had no idea that this warehouse is already occupied by the players of I8, because of which they lost one of their player. Sky is definitely down, but an easy revival might be coming in anytime.
It should be around the corner, but it's not going to be an easy one out in the open, like you were mentioning. But Illuminate crew, they've got a lot of information. They've got a lot of hope as well to be able to get those defeat points for themselves, but it's not looking that easy. The way that they're roaming about and circling around this warehouse, it is an open area after all. The smoke can only do so much, and that is what Viper has also pushed it through for, and just gonna fall back out of there, which is definitely a very, very good decision made, because he had made so much noise over there. Right now, Abrupt Slayers. Let's see. ASL, what exactly are they going to retaliate with? How exactly are they going to retaliate with? They've lost one of their teammates, of course, Chari. An incredibly important player for ASL. And they know exactly where the opponents are. They know who's done it. They just need to scope them out. Scope them out. That is what Gangster is going to be trying to do as well. But to no avail for now. Moving away from there, we are in just a few seconds going to be looking at stage 3 going to be drawn on our map as well. And that is where Elementrix will find themselves in a very good spot. But behind them is going to be SKYLIGHTZ. Okay, now SKYLIGHTZ Gaming, this worked out beautifully for them. The way the zone has turned itself around towards their area and given them an open field to play with. It's not even a field, it's actually mountain range that they can play with, and that's what they love to do on the map of Miramar that we saw from them earlier as well. But can they repeat that same action again? From the top north, of course, we do have Stalwart, who is still being very, very subtle about how they want to be taking things down. It is still up for grabs, this game. It is still up for grabs for any of these teams. Yes, Stalwart is looking very good from the northern side. From the western side, we, of course, let's just see SG jumping into the action as well. From south, we've got IHC. Since we're only a few minutes in, 15 teams still remain, so a lot of things that can go wrong as well for the teams that I just spoke about. Because getting into the zone is one thing, but then holding that position and taking down your enemy and getting those defeat points is not an easy one. For which, of course, we also wait, as we are also stuck in a stalemate right now, as the teams are trying to scope each other out. They're being very, very thorough about where do they want to take a fight, which fight, in fact, do they even want to be a part of. As we just saw SITM, they noticed that that warehouse had somebody in there. They scoped a few peeps out and then fell back, and they were not interested. And right now also they can completely and clearly hear Mavitex making a rotation from there. And of course Leo is going to be sprayed on upon from Giro, but sadly to no avail as of yet, as Mavitex is going to be able to make a rotation, but not for long. Or will that be the case? It seems Leo is almost at 30%, 20% HP, but he is going to be able to get out of there alive. No problem whatsoever at all. Or will he? No, he will not. What an incredible spray coming in from Giro as he takes down Mavtex's volley down. Mavtex is down to a 3-man army. Or hold on, SITM's... No, SITM did not get that defeat. That defeat was stolen from him.
Well, certainly that defeat point was stolen. That thunder was stolen by some other team, but SATM, they do have the control of the western front right now. They are on the periphery of the circle, where exactly if we head little north, we have the players of T2K also in the close proximity. So SATM need to be a bit cautious, because when the next circle is going to form, if they're forced to make a rotation, T2K can be that ugly thorn in their path. On the other side, we have the players of Leo Esports also going down, as Haitami has not been knocked down by the players of IHC. And now Sus is the only man standing. He has to go for the crucial revival onto his fallen teammates, but it's not going to be so easy. And looks like now Sus is the only man standing from the side of Leo Esports. How he's going to transition himself inside the circle, I don't know. Maybe late rotation could be the answer. On the other side, Circle has taken a bit of the northern shift, where the players of DRS are on the periphery. On the northern front, we have the players of SKYLIGHTZ on the western front, Elementrix in the center, and that is exactly where the tension of the players of 4MV is, as they take down one player of Team Elementrix and get instant confirmation also.
Ooh, this was looking so good for Elementrix, and still is actually, because the position that they're in, it is so very worthwhile. Pretty much in the center, getting all the information, getting the compound, but then losing out on one teammate is not how you work towards a chicken dinner. But never mind all of that, because right now it is going to be DEADEYES guys jumping towards the positioning of IHC, and IHC say, "This mountain is mine," as they take down the players. Zeol gonna try and get his health back up. DEADEYES guys, Slayer, so one by one, this is not the way to enter, guys. DEADEYES guys, they thought they could take it all, but it is not going to be allowed, as Alex, with a power swing play right there with his vehicle, jumps it across and says, "Hey, this is mine, mate. Thank you so much." And with that, of course, 4 defeat points confirmed for IHC, and they are just getting started right now from the south. They've got teams around them as well, around the vicinity. That is something that they'll need to be very, very cautious of. Because if they're not, that is something that has come to bite them in the back earlier as well. But this time around, they're being very, very thorough. As we can see, Zeol just heard that vehicle, and bad intentions. Not one, but two. Both of the players who were in the vehicle have been dropped down. Have not yet gotten the elimination points yet, IHC, but they're slowly but surely working towards it. They're getting closer and closer towards it. Look at the communication right there between Alex, Zeol, and Godless, as Godless is in the background. They take down bad intentions players one by one.
So many teams are losing on their players in their attempted strike towards the circle, and T2K also becoming one of them, as they're going to lose Sandesh because of the players of Stalwart Esports. And Stalwart again looking very strong in this 1-2 defeat points. They are being the king of the hills, and the way they are spotting down the players of T2K, at the same time SATM, they do have an information onto the players of SATM as well. Leo Esports, last man standing source, has been eliminated. Now we are left with only 12 teams, 38 players. And SATM still not in the best of the spot. Bad intention. Their intentions are not so bad, but their run is very bad, because day 3 their misery is still continuing, as they have been eliminated at the 12th spot with no points to their name. And this is something very shocking. On the other side, we have the players of 4MV knocking down the players of SATM in a very close range and getting a confirmation onto Giro as well.
Indeed, along in all of that, the positioning that Illuminate crew are in. I mean, yep, they've gotten that one as high as they possibly could, but now right above them is going to be 4MV. And of course, that smoke that has been deployed from Novex is going to be dissipating, and there we go. The smoke has dissipated. That's creating an opening for the players of 4MV. And look at East 922. He's already in the flank. He knows that that is exactly where they're going to be jumping in from, but he gives away his position, as well as Noah. Novax, along with a vector in his hand, is now going to be brought down to, of course, how exactly he's going to be able to spray, and how fast is he going to be able to spray, which is not going to be allowed to do. 4MV looking very good, as the aggression just every single game amps up from the side of 4MV. As they see that overall ranking and they realize that somebody is catching up to us, they ramp up that aggression, and that's what we're looking at from their side right now as well, as they take on the players of Illuminate Crew, and not only take them on, but eliminate them, annihilate them from the entirety of the lobby. Thus, we're remaining with only 10 teams. An accelerated day today has been from one game to the next. The amount of bloodthirst that we've seen between these players and the lobby itself, it is wonderful for PMPL South Asia.
And SATM Dobu finds a perfect knock onto Abrupt/Sleepy. All these three teams towards the southern side. As the circle has taken a northern shift, they have to prioritize the rotation. That is exactly what the players of 4MV are doing. No, Apex is looking for a knock onto the players of Abrupt/, or maybe for a fight with the players of SITM. And looks like their target right now is SITM, as a grenade is already... No, he's having second thoughts. This is the moment when the IGL gives the call, prioritize the rotation, and that is exactly what 4MV is doing. But in doing so, Abrupt players find one player of 4MV, instantly takes him down. SITM also, Desert has been taken down from a moving vehicle along with his teammate QB also, and Maptex Esports, they have been eliminated at 10th spot, and SITM also bids bye-bye at 9th spot with 0 eliminations.
Absolutely, that was abysmal for us at team. Of course, they did not anticipate the game to go this array for them, but it was all thanks to the zone itself. And along with that, now we've got in the kill feed, of course, IHC being shot on upon from the side of Skylight Gaming, who we saw earlier had made an entry into the zone from the western side. But never mind all that. 8 teams remain right now, as on our screens we've got Elementrix, who now find themselves at the edge but on top of the ledge. They've got the information, but Stalwart are in action as action pushes on to try and peek on through to the peak to understand if at all there's a team and where exactly are they at. And Stalwart's action gets some action over there, gets a grenade thrown against him, but how? Now the best part is Stalwart has the information, so now they can strategize to try and attack the positioning of Elementrix. And if Elementrix is not careful, this is going to be very, very quick and very, very swift. As we can clearly see, one man is in the car who's trying to, of course, draw attention towards the vehicle, and the other two are in the backgrounds preparing those perfectly throwable, timed throwable nades and molotovs against Elementrix, as one by one STE push on to the position that was held on by Elementrix. For now, this is the fight that is taking place to be at the top of the hill, of course, the king of the hill, because whoever controls this hill, this mountain range, is going to be able to get so much information. And just like that, action jumps into action. Frag was already spotted on. Entry frag gone down to almost a sliver of HP, 20% HP on him. Gimli and, of course, Orange go fall back. There is no way that Fragboy could have been helped out over there. And with that nade in perfect control time, it is going to be STE's action, who's absolutely destroying the positioning of Elementrix. And not only that, but pushing them back as well. Whereas Elementrix's other players are busy taking on fight with a completely different team. This... wow. Could not have... yeah, okay. Could not have expected that. When your teammates are getting sprayed on upon and you take a different fight altogether, that is just completely wrong. But nevertheless, it seems like Stalwart had only a few seconds of a highlight over there, because 4 Miracle Wives were right around the corner. They knew exactly what was happening on top of that mountain. And now they themselves, Doc is the one leading the charge right now with the UMP in his hand to control this mountain. We do have Stalwart's players still remaining. We've got 2 of them still remaining as of now. We've got Icy up front, but 4 Miracle Wives, they've climbed up. One of them, of course, we saw has climbed up. Doc was up front, but he was all by his lonesome. Now his 2 teammates are far down below. But STE are not going to make that chance. They are not going to run for it to see if at all 4 Miracles Doc was the only player, or are they a 4-man army. They are going to be very, very cautious. And that is something that I love about Stalwart. They know when to be hungry for those kills, and they know when to kind of play it safe.
Well, certainly on the other side, we have the players of T2K going up against the players of SKYLIGHTZ Gaming, as Nima has been eliminated, leaving SKYLIGHTZ Gaming with only 3 men in this particular situation. But they do have the epicenter of the circle. They have the circle control, so this could be their game as long as they are able to keep their numbers alive. On the other side, Stalwart Esports, well, they were not prepared for the grenades that came from the side of 4MV, because of which they lost 2 of their own players. On the other side, No Fear is going to retaliate and take down IHC. Well, trades are coming in, And IHC Zoil has been eliminated. Mafia Ninja having the height advantage or upper angle, and IHC has been eliminated after a daunting performance. 10 eliminations to their name, but SKYLIGHTZ Gaming, they are still in the top 5. All the 3 players are alive. Easy rescue mission, easy revivals are coming through. On the other side, Stalwart Esports, they are still engaged in a fight with a plus of 4 MV. 4 MV, 12 elimination. They are raining death and destruction everywhere, but now they are up against a very strong team that is going to be Stalwart Esports, and this fight is not going to be so easy.
Indeed, because 4MV, they've got the numbers now. They've been able to push ahead. They did lose out on one of the players, but that's okay. But from the backline, there is SKYLIGHTZ, who can be very much troubling in this fight. They can be the third party, because right now taking down Stalwart is not going to be too difficult for the players of 4MV. And never mind that, that's going to be done for them, as T2K's Rig takes and steals away that final elimination point. 13 defeat points is what 4MV is at, with 3 of their players standing on top of this mountain. They've got a lot of information, but now the zone in the matter of seconds is going to be moving away from that side. And this is where SG can jump in and get into the center. They know exactly where 4MV is at, but they know where the zone is going to be going, which is definitely not towards 4MV, and that's exactly how they're going to be positioning themselves to gatekeep 4MV as they try and rush in. And what a perfect positioning this is from the side of SG right here. Whereas for the other 2 teams, we can see Rig from the side of T2K is the only man surviving, as well as DRS's Rules OG. And the Blues are going to be catching up to those 2 in a matter of minutes maximum. But for 4MV, the trouble has just started, because they're leading, they're looking good. They've got 13 defeats, but the zone is something they do not have. And the zone is something that SG is prepared to fight for.
But they do have the position blotter. For MV, they have the height advantage, and in a map of Miramar, if you have the height angle, if you have the upper ridge control, you are definitely having an extra advantage as compared to your enemy. And look, exactly that is what 4MV are doing, as they are trying to inch themselves inside the circle, and now they have the circle advantage as well, position advantage as well. And SKYLIGHTZ, they are way too scattered. AJ, look at his position. He's too far away from his teammates, and if he gets taken down, there is no chance of a revival coming in for him. So SKYLIGHTZ, they need to be careful about that.
They do. That is an ouch moment indeed, as you so brutally laid it all down. It seems like it is not yet done, because I honestly anticipated the zone to go away. But there we have it. It is still anybody's game, so perfectly mentioned by Shadow right here, and explained as well. And it is going to be a 4MV versus SG fight, 3v3, wherein, of course, DRS's Rules, my apologies, as well as T2K's final player are just going to have to wait it out. But for now, how exactly does SG want to take this? How exactly do they want to prep for this? Now, if we look at East 922 right there, he's got no throwables at all. He's got a UMP in his hand. For his teammate, yeah, again, not that many. That could be a cause for concern. We still haven't seen what SKYLIGHTZ Gaming have. But SKYLIGHTZ Gaming, they seem to be definitely scattered a little based on what the minimap is telling us. And they're looking at different directions and not looking at where the direction of 4MV is at and where they're coming from. And of course, so perfectly mentioned by Shadow, the fact that they've got the height advantage and the zones that they're slowly working towards. East up front. Yo. SKYLIGHTZ Gaming could not find the light in this one, it seems. But again, it's too early to say.
Certainly, SKYLIGHTZ Gaming, they are taking things slow. They are trying to maintain the circle control which they are having in their hands. On the other side, we have the player, last player of DRZ, Rules, playing along with the blue. I think he do have an idea there could be players in that little shack area, but I don't know about DRS Rules. 4MV Dog definitely knows that there is a guy hiding in that little shack. And the minute Rig is going to come out in the open, Rig is ready with his M416. He's keeping a close eye onto him. At the same time, the minute Rules is going to come out in the open, he'll be spotted down very easily. And Rig out there in the open, Doc just waiting for the perfect opportunity, where Rig is out there in complete open, and finding the opportunity instantly takes him down. And T2K have been eliminated at the 4th spot. Now 3 teams, 7 players remaining. 4MV, they don't have the throwables. That's the main concern I have. They don't have those smokes or the grenades or the molotovs. Otherwise, the position, the circle control, everything they have.
good. But from the back end, I mean, Doc is definitely trying his level best to find out that player. Well, never mind the player. I was just about to point out DRS still has one player remaining in the backs, but never mind that, as he's been taken care of. And now it all boils down to these two teams, a 3v3 fight, an equal opportunity. But this equal opportunity is going to be provided to which team? Who will be the one leading the first knock? Of course, 4MV, they are up on top. They should have a better advantage, the height advantage. The King of the Hill situation working in their favor. Whereas for Skylight Gaming, they are a little scattered. They do have throwables. They are going to be using a little bit of a smoke. They've got that small little lip on the mountain that's going to be helping them out as far as the defense is concerned. But again, that throwable that 4MV don't have could be a cause for concern as they try and push out in the open. But that is also not too big of a trouble because we've seen 4MV and the critical sting that they throw in. And right up to the top, he's 9 on 2, throws it himself into the fight along with his teammate. And just like that, in a matter of 20 seconds, they destroy the entire lineup of Skylight Gaming with only one man surviving. Now it's all boiling down to a 1v1 situation. No fear against Refuse. Refuse has all of this working in his favor. He's got the DBS in his bag. And just like that, he's going to get this for his team. A 1v1 situation that, of course, was valiantly played by the final player of SG. But sadly, no chicken dinner going to be awarded for that valiant effort, mate. After all, it is going to be 4MV standing up to the cause. And like we were talking about this, I said this yesterday as well. As soon as someone gets close to 4MV and tries to catch up to them, they just rack up those numbers, and 4 Medical Wives just push on ahead. And this time around, they've got 17 total eliminations, along with, of course, the 10 points of chicken dinner, 27 points. And once again, no doubt about it, they will stay in the lead in the overall ranking. And we are back. Of course, what a game that was. It was an annihilating play from so many of these individual teams, but definitely a perfect turn of events right here for the final game of Miramar. And I have to say, it was an accelerated day. The way it started off on Sanhok, and then the way it slowly pushed on from one Erangel to the other. Shadow, I mean, the teams, they were playing their sweat and tear and blood, putting it all out right here on just day number 3 in week 1.
Well, certainly. And the fact that you mentioned the moment any team get closer to 4MV in the standings, they deliver a very dominating performance so that the throne is not taken away. At the same time, I think they are also trying to break the record of the 19 elimination, because this time they have 17 elimination. They're like, on the top, we are going to be, in terms of the highest elimination, we are going to be there. So in every department, 4MV is trying to just lead.
And they are doing so gracefully as well, right? That's the best part. With that, let's move ahead and have a look at the most valuable player coming in from this game. The most valuable player is going to be from the side of 4MV, of course. It is going to be Doc, 922 with 2 assists, 7 eliminations, and of course, a total damage of 1,185. I mean, what a perfect synergistic graph he's created right here for himself and for his team for sure.
Well, certainly he's the MVP, and with a dominating performance, a perfect statistics coming from a single individual. So definitely a very impressive performance coming from his side. 4MV being the consistent one, along with so many other teams also. Stalwart also being the consistent one in day number 1, day number 2, and day number 3 as well. But few teams are still yet to deliver the performance, like Esports. Elementrix definitely showcase some improvement, but aren't enough to take them or to give them enough points so that they can be on the first page of the leaderboard.
True. With that, of course, let's also talk about the leaders, the top players right here. And the top players, of course, we do know the MVP player is going to be there. That's going to be Doc. Following along closely along with his teammate is going to be East 922.
Certainly. In terms of talking about the match summary, it is the highest elimination, highest damage, everything coming from this side of 4MV. Even the highest assist also is just the highest healing done that came from the side of Leo OP, from the side of Leo Esports, 373. So it was all in all 4MV game in terms of eliminations, the damage, the assist. Everything is working in their favor. This team is unstoppable.
They most certainly look unstoppable as of yet in week number 1, which is still not yet done. But as we move ahead, we are, of course, going into the match ranking itself, and the match ranking is IHC being right there on the second spot with 10 eliminations of their own. Moving on to the second page, we do have Illuminate Crew, who tried their level best, were caught out in the open as they tried to get onto or climb on to that mountain that 4MV had in their hands. Again, there are, you win some you lose some, and that is what we're looking at right here on the second page, because these teams today have been really good for themselves.
Well, certainly, but talking about IHC blotter, only 2 placement points and 10 elimination. That means they were taken out pretty early in the game, but still they are having 10 elimination. Had they survived a little longer, maybe they could have toppled over 4MV. Okay,
True.
not toppled over because the elimination points which 4MV is having, but still a very impressive performance.
Indeed, right? Because there was this moment in stage 5 into stage 6. Let's move on to the highlights, and maybe over there we'll be able to see it, where there was a moment where from the east, from the south it was IHC, and we got Stalwart all over the board. So Stalwart from north, my apologies. And so that clearly implied the fact that, it is going to be a very difficult task for whichever team comes up on top. And when it came down to the center of the zone, it was Elementrix who was then toppled down for this mountain, and then it was Stalwart, and then toppled down, it was 4MV. So yeah, this entire game itself, it went round and round and between so many individual teams for so many individual fights and compounds that they fought for.
Certainly, 4MV is definitely very aggressive team. SKYLIGHTZ game on the other side, they were trying to play the game of the patience. They was just waiting for the players of 4MV to not waiting for the players of 4MV. They was just trying to maintain the cover, the position they had, to keep a control of that, which allowed the players of 4MV to inch a little bit more closer to the players of SKYLIGHTZ gaming and have that control of the uphill position, because of which they were able to get the chicken dinner.
Absolutely. Let's also move on ahead. Talk about the overall ranking, the storyboard as I like to call it. Storyboard clearly implying the difference between 4Metrical Vibes and Stalwart Esports is going to be of 37 points. Wow. 37 points is what a team needs to get in order to catch up to a team that's already leading in every single time. That is going to be 4MV, but on the second page, now this is where we need to see changes. A huge change that needs to take place is to see Seal Esports get away from that 20th position. On the other front, for Bad Intentions, things have just not been good. I mean, they've been trying, we've seen them, so has been Seal today, definitely, but it's just not been able to work out. And of course, we've said this earlier, only top 12 teams will participate in the bonus map that will be played on day number 5, on Sunday. After the 5th game, we'll have a 6th game that will be of Vikendi, and that only top 12 teams are going to be able to participate in. So even DEADEYES guys, Illuminate Crew, TRZ, SITM right now, yeah, they've got a long climb, and for that climb, one team that I'm rooting, not necessarily, but happy for, is going to be Raw Officials. The way they started on day 1 and the way they've been able to climb and reach, it is incredible, and the journey still continues on further so much more.
And certainly, Raw Officials, they have finally found their foot in the game. In every single game, they are able to grab good points for themselves. At least they are putting up good fights. Even with the strongest team, sometimes they are winning the fights. Last time they put up a fight against the players of T2K, and Raw Officials came supreme in that particular Erangel fight. So definitely, Raw Officials have shown the signs of improvement. And maybe by the end of week number 3, we can see them maybe in the top 5, if not top 5, at least top 8 position. So yes, that is there, but on the other side we have 2 teams blotter who are super inconsistent, like DEADEYES and SITM. Despite having 1-1 chicken dinner each for themselves, they are somewhere on the bottom of the leaderboard. That is something very shocking.
True, that is very shocking. That is something that, of course, changes every single time. Every single time we're part of PMPL, and that this time around is that much more aggressive based on how the point structure has been created, right? And so even if you have decent days and decent chicken dinner points for you, it's just not enough. And that is something that consistency, the word is consistency. You have to be consistently thorough with every single game that you're playing and walk away with at least 10 points, which I know I'm saying is not an easy thing to get, but that is what you need to do, because that is what the margin is right here. It's cutthroat in the battleground. And of course, we know from these 20 teams also, only 16 teams are going to move into the finals that are going to be played 3 weeks later. So a huge amount of pressure that these teams definitely are in, these lads are in. But overall, I'm sure they're going to be able to cope up, because this is just day number 3. They are getting comfortable. We've seen that from each and every individual player from all of these teams. And as the days progress on, I am more than happy to say that I feel very, very, comfortable that these players are going to be changing the storyline for us. The teams that are going to be sitting on the second page in week 2 are the ones who most certainly, I believe, are going to be rising.
Before grand finals, we have the bonus match also blotted, and that is going to
Oh,
be
yes.
played on day number 5, the 6th match that is going to be in weekendy. So bonus match where only top 12 teams will get a chance to play and earn few bonus points for themselves. I think that is main target for the teams right now. Just be in top 12 so that you can grab those bonus points which are going to help you in qualifying for the grand finals.
That is so true. That is so true, because that'll give you the boost that you need. But with that, the boost of energy from our side has come to an end. So has the stream. Thank you so very much for tuning in right here for PMPL SA Day number 3, 2023 spring season. Of course, I'm your host, Flora, joined in, of course, with Shadow right here. We'll be back again tomorrow to cast more games and take you through all the action that takes place right here at PMPL SA.